What's up, guys? It's your boy, Wise Infinity, coming to you today with a video. This is going to be a very long video. This might take, I don't know how long. This might take a good minute. And let me just get off of Discord. I'm doing this live on Twitch at the moment. So when you guys are watching this will be on YouTube, obviously. And I'm essentially going to be power scaling the hypothetical. I was already writing some stuff, so let's just remove this and we'll just start fresh. Okay, I think that's fair. So for me, it's morning. I don't know what time it is for you guys, but like I said, this is gonna be a long video. You're probably gonna fall asleep. This video is gonna be so goddamn long. So this is based off of my last video that I did on Ichigo with all Bankais, Naruto with all Doujustu, and then Luffy with all Devil Fruits. So I gave Naruto a more fair chance because I gave him infinite chakra, because Renegon is gonna be using a lot of energy. The Byakugan is going to be using a lot of, like if he has the Tenseigan and all these, eyes, they're going to require a lot of chakra. So we're essentially going to be breaking down all three of them in this fight. And I think this will be good for me because I'll be able to understand. We're essentially going to be doing research live, right? And on YouTube, it's going to be the same thing. So my goal for this video is by the end of this to have you have an outcome, not just me have an outcome. Because at the end of the day, I think my opinion is probably going to make you guys be a little bit more upsetty magetti. If you want my opinion straight up, just ask me in the comments section before I even start doing this. Because I've already done this once before. I did it very quickly because based off of my current knowledge, or based off of my past knowledge of everything, I mean, I was pretty much giving it to Luffy right off the bat because it's kind of not fair. So in this one, we're going to be doing it differently. This is a maximum outcome. Maximum potential, maximum everything. We're gonna maximize everything on the crazy meter. So instead of just saying this Ichigo has every Bankai, because every Bankai would imply many different things. So I'm just going to give you one definition. What does that mean? So Ichigo in this hypothetical scenario has one sword. Not 30 swords, because there's 30 Bankai. And if there's even more Bankai than this, there's like 35, I think, at most, right? But based off of what I've seen, the research I've done beforehand, we'll be breaking it down, but we'll be looking into how many Bankai they are and what they do and everything. And, we're going to try to super mega logic lord everything, quote unquote, by King of Lightning. That's pretty much something he said. Super logic lord. But yeah, we're gonna try to super logic lord the fuck out of this and just be completely maximizing everything. We're gonna be highballing, so there's no low balls. So we're not assuming Ichigo's gonna have 50 billion swords around him. We're gonna assume one sword is being used here. Granted, Ichigo does use two swords when you see him come out in the thingy. He's only going to be using one sword. This one sword will be the Omega Sword. It has all the Bankai there. This is the first thing I will, say. So, he essentially has all his Bankai in this one sword. Now, two scenarios. Either we assume that one Bankai sword can switch into all Bankai, So one Bankai, second Bankai, third Bankai, right? So it's like, for an example, this is my sword, right? If I use Ichigo's Bankai and then I use Byakuya's Bankai, the Bankai will change, right? Two different Bankai. They don't work the same. Both different, right? Or I assume all Bankai are being combined into one Bankai. Or I just assume all the stats are being added to the best Bankai. And then we use that Bankai. So there are three scenarios I can use. So I'll write that down. All Bankai Ichigo with an Omega Sword Bankai. Now I'm just calling it Omega Sword because that's what it is. Omega Sword Bankai. it's God. Let's just call it God Sword before you guys are like, nah. Omega Sword sounds trash. Let's call it God Sword Bankai. God Sword Bankai. Three scenarios that I can think of. So you might have like another scenario. He has all Bankai activated and getting an exponential boost and multiplier to all his stats and has all hacks at the same time and can use any version of Bankai at will. Right? God damn, that's a lot. So this is like the best scenario, right? Second scenario. Can transform sword into each Bankai one at a time, depending on scenario. Or has the best Bankai with all stats amped based off all 30 Bankai. So those are like the three scenarios I can think of. I think the first one is probably the best one because it just gives him more. How many Bankai are there? So we're gonna be looking at every single character that can use a Bankai, essentially. So we have Katen Kyokutsu, Karamatsu, Shinju. That's one guy. We have Unnamed the Bankai, Kenpachi Zaraki. We have Zanka no Taichi, Genryusei. This is Yamamoto's Bankai. Then we have Daiguren, Hyorin Maru. This Bankai, Koko, Rikyu, Chojiro. Yeah. Is this the, what is this? Okay, never mind. We have Tensa Sangetsu, Ichigo's Bankai. We have Zenbon Zakura, Kageyoshi. We have Zozabi Maru. We have Hakano Tagame, Rukia's Bankai. Minazuki, Retsu Unohana's Bankai. We have Sui Feng's Bankai. Ichimaru's Jin's Bankai. We have Madarame Ikaku's Bankai. We have Kisuke Urahara's Bankai. Mayuri Kurotsuchi's Bankai. We have Kaname Tosen's Bankai. We have Sanjin Komamaru Bankai. Who the fuck is this guy? Oh, okay. I know who this is. This is the Beast. Oh, they only have the 17 Bankais here. Well, if you search it up on YouTube, how many Bankais are there? I think it's like 30, if I'm correct. Let me see. Based off of this video of DB's this video right here, this is the video I watched, and this was from 6 months ago. So I assume these are all the Bankai. There's 30 Bankai. So the research we got to do is, if we're assuming he has all these powers that he can activate at once, like some, you know, Omega God Sword ability, where like he's holding ice temperature, right? Because Rukia's is just temperature, where like she can continuously drop down the temperature. Mind you, this can kill Rukia. This is one thing they might not mention to you, but this shit can actually kill Rukia. Right, so she's going to like, you know, lower the temperature to the point where she could just like one-shot somebody. So essentially Aokiji's Devil Fruit, but hers is like, I guess, lowering the temperature. So yes, I think if we're picking out of these three, me personally, I think the most broken one is all Bankai are activated. Want to make sure. Am I on Discord? Let me go on to Task Manager, because I just heard a Discord point. I'll look at this. I think Discord should be closed. Alright, so assuming so let's reread the choices again. He has all Bankai activated and getting exponential boost and multiplier to all his stats. And has all hacks at the same time and can use any version of Bankai at will. No. He is using same time. He is using every version of Bankai at will at the same time. Alright? Everything is being used. So maximum. Let's go into Paint 3D. So we're gonna draw this out. We're gonna draw this out. Okay. What is this? A crayon? Get a marker. Okay. So we're gonna assume this is like a sword. Right? Omega sword. Right? So it has fire. Let me switch. It has, you know, fire on it. You know, fire sword. It has ice temperature on it. It will freeze you to death, and it will also burn you to death at the same time. Right? And then you have Kampachi's thing where it's just like making you stronger. And then we have Ikaku's. So we're just gonna write down every fucking power up essentially. We're gonna write all the most notable ones. Because that's important. Very, very important. So
this is an incredibly cool Bankai with lots of thought that has been put into it. I was watching this video
beforehand. Some Bankai kind of don't work with each other, so we will create new rules. So for an example, he said Sui Fang. So if he hits you twice with this shit, you die. Does not matter. You die. If he hits you twice with this shit, you die. In the same spot, you die. Essentially. Remove the ad. Let me go on Twitch, because
Act up it.
Alright.
Entered itself as one of the greatest power-ups within all of shonen anime and manga. The significance of a Bankai form goes beyond
yada yada. So let's see, I assume it starts here, right?
Before beginning the ranking, let's lay down some ground rules, as I'll each universe.
Never.
Coming in at number 30 and unfortunately earning the title for the worst Bankai is unfortunately going to have to be Ikkaku Madarame's Ryumon Hozokimaru.
Okay, so we're just gonna be searching up mid video. So I'm gonna spare this guy. I just need to know everybody who has Bankai. Yes, I don't remember every fucking Bankai. I also don't remember every fucking Devil Fruit. Okay. So I'm just gonna see what the fuck he does, essentially. Powers and abilities. Powers and abilities? Question mark? Alright, I guess I'll just have to look at it myself and read it out loud. Okay. So based off of this, as the Zanpakuto spirit of a lieutenant level Shinigami, Hozuki Maru possesses a considerable amount of Ryoku, allowing him to fight evenly with Ikkaku Madarame. On 2 separate occasions, yada yada. This is the Zanpakuto. This is not Ikkaku, right? We're just talking about the Bankai itself. Whatever. Theorizes Hozuki Maru actually lowered his power to match Ikkaku's because of his love for fighting. Later, he and Ikkaku effortlessly take down several Gillians with only their Shikai during their defense of the human world. His Ryatsu is red. Credible skill with Naginata Shikai. When fighting, he frequently jabs at his opponent from several different angles, performs powerful two-handed strikes, and effectively uses the ranged nature of Shikai to his advantage. He is proficient enough to fight equally against a master swordsman like Ikkaku. Enhanced strength. Hozuki Maru possesses a large amount of physical strength. He can pick up and throw several unseated Shinigami with ease. He can attack with enough force to shatter the ground upon hitting it, and can spin his Bankai around with enough force to create a powerful whirlwind during his second fight with Ikkaku. Hozuki Maru possesses considerable speed, easily keeping up with Ikkaku. So we're just gonna this thing increases enhanced reflexes, possesses considerable advantage during both of his fights, and enhanced endurance is considerably enduring combatant. During his fight with Ikkaku, he let himself get wounded in several areas in order to gauge Ikkaku's strength and continue to fight. So we're just gonna assume this is like a 10 times multiplier. This is just straight up just this is 10 times multiplier. They're all gonna be 10 times multiplier, but I'm just gauging to see his hacks. So Ikkaku has no hacks. So it's just so we're just gonna call him Bald Guy. Bald Guy Bankai. Respect to Ikkaku though. Ikkaku's Bankai, 10 times multiplier to all stats. So, no hacks. There's no hacks. I mean, besides his Bankai making him stronger, essentially, like when he spins it, it'll like get stronger and all this bullshit. Like, Dragon Crest, Demon Light, initially to activate his Bankai, spins his Shikai overhead before slamming it into the ground, and steam trails of black-red Ryatsu emanate from it. Afterward, his Bankai falls from the sky and crashes into the ground around him. So this is kind of a useless fucking Bankai for Ichigo in this fight, because this is too much shit. We don't want to assume his shit is just gonna like, okay, I spin my sword and then it falls down and then I pick it up and I fight. It's like, no, that's horrible. So we're just gonna assume it's off the gate 10 times multiplier. Just you're straight up stronger. Because this Bankai specifically has a ramp up time, and that's not good. That is not fucking good. That's trash. So next, we're gonna go with the next Bankai. Okay, so Renji. We're gonna go with Renji's Bankai. So let me see. Renji's Bankai. This is the next Bankai. Let's see. Powers and abilities. Alright, looks like I'm gonna have to go to it myself. I click on powers and abilities on the website to look to see. Based off of what I think, mind you, this is not like all of these people combined. This is not Renji combined with Ikaku, combined with Kenpachi, combined with Aizen, combined with Yamamoto, combined with Ichigo. This is all Bankai. So it's like, if we're going to that length, then we might as well fucking combine every fucking character in all shows. At that point, this is gonna be too complicated. Right, so it's just all the abilities that this person has, essentially. Let me see. Powers and abilities. Master Swordsman, trained by Ikaku Madarame. Renji is highly skilled in various swordsmanship techniques. Before becoming a lieutenant, he could fight on par with Ikaku Shikai and earn the rank of 60 officer. Whip mastery. Renji weapon skills are very versatile, despite Shunpo expert knowing the Zabima. Okay, that does not matter. Great spiritual power, yada yada, immense strength, immense durability. Okay, Zanpakuto. So the true form of Renji's Bankai takes on more compact form. This is predominantly worn on his right wrist. Renji gains a gauntlet resembling the top portion of a snake. On his right wrist, Renji gains a gauntlet resembling the top portion of a snake's skull, with a cowl of red fur surrounding its base, a long bony tail, a vertebrae. Bankai special gains special techniques when in Bankai form. Ihio. The cowl portion of the Bankai transforms into a large skeletal arm covered in green fur that allows movement to Renji's own left arm. Ihio possesses considerable power, having enough strength to crush bones and effortlessly throw around large opponents with relative ease. It is strong enough to effortlessly lift up large slab of wall and crush it into pieces with minimal force. Orochio. Upon Renji activating this technique, the vertebrae structure unfurls from around his wrist and extends like a tail. The blade portion of the Bankai changes into a larger serrated form. Zo Zabimaru Zaga Teppo. Snake Fan Iron Gun. After impaling the enemy with his blade, Renji clenches his fist. And yes. So essentially this just sounds like another power-up. So on top of this, his sword has like a snake fangy fang on it, right? Like a snaky snake, I guess. And has like a gauntlet, I guess. So this is just one part, I guess, of the fucking... Doesn't add no poison abilities. The last part does say that the attack is powerful enough to reduce its target to ashes. So I guess more firepower, essentially. Firepower, essentially, can turn things into ashes. So we're just gonna Renji's Bankai 10 times multiplier. Because to all stats. Yeah, pretty much. Next Bankai. We gotta do this 30 more goddamn times since
I'm playing this on PC.
No ads.
It leaves very little excuse for Hihio Zabimaru, which pales in comparison,
Yes.
unsurprisingly changing in certain battles. But that's where all the Bankai in Bleach. Now let's move on to number 28, which, spoiler alert, is going to be the first controversial decision of this video. The next Bankai is Shinji Hirako's Sakashima
Oh yeah, this guy's Bankai. Okay, so this is also another weird Bankai because it's like it doesn't really enhance the user. It just gives you hacks. So this is like the first hacks ability because it's supposed to change up from down, down to left, and left to right, and right to turn around, and it fucks with your nervous system essentially. It didn't work on Aizen, of course, but like, you know, we're gonna read it out loud so we can see what it does. This is just hacks. We're gonna look at his Bankai. He's Bankai. So we're gonna look at powers and ability. Powers and ability. Zanpakuto. It resembles a normal katana. The hilt and sheath are red and yada yada. The release Shikai. So let's just go into the Bankai. Bankai. Sakashima Yokoshima Hapofusugari. Turn Shinji's sword into a staff with a large ring on the front end, while Shinji himself stands on a large flower construct. The flower petals close themselves for the duration of the Bankai, shielding Shinji inside. Inside of them, Bankai special ability is a wide area Bankai that targets opponents and allies alike without discrimination and without exception. The mist it generates inverts the perception of all his enemies and or allies within the vicinity of his Bankai, with Shinji himself being the sole person unaffected as a result. Everyone mistakes allies for enemies for the duration of the Bankai. So, yeah, that's it. It just fucks with your perception. That's all it really does. So this is hacks. I say this increases your power by 10 times? No. But let's just assume it does, right? I know you guys no, but Bankai are stated this would be a weaker Bankai. This would be like in the 5 times. This would not be like a 10 times. This would be like much weaker. Why? Because all it's really doing is affecting your let's see. all it's really doing is fucking with your senses. It's supposed to make you think left from right, right to left. So this Bankai, let me see. The guy's name is Shinji Harako. Shinji Harako's Bankai. I'm just gonna say 10 times because we're fucking wanking the shit out of everything 10 times multiplier. To all stats and hacks can change perception of everybody in the mist that they are covered in, I guess. Right? So that's 10 times. If we're doing this exponentially, I get a calculator, right? I mean, this is not going to change my opinion on anything because should just be straight up 10 times. 10 times multiplier is good enough, I think, on like everybody. So 10 to the power of, let me see. Is there a way to do power? Probably not, right? So we're just going to have to do 10 times 10 times 10. That's 3. This is 4, 5, 6. Sorry about that. Okay, I by accident I fucked it up. 10 times 10, that's 2. Times 3, times 4, or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 23, 24. I assume it's just gonna give me 1.ie plus. Oops. Whatever. It's gonna give me 1 IE plus 30, right? That's what I assume, right? So it's gonna be 1 IE plus 30. So let me see. 1 dot E plus 30. Yeah, plus 30. Fuck it. So how big is this number? Yes, very fucking big. So we're gonna just discuss the hacks, right? Because I think, you know, writing all this shit down is gonna take too long, right? But we're gonna fucking discuss all the hacks,
Yokoshima
right?
Happo Fusagari before rage quitting this video character, which results in Shinji's Shikai behaving more like a
The universe is crazy, ain't it?
This is Soy Fungs. Soy Fungs, I mean, he hits you twice.
It's a pretty strange limitation that we hear of, is its control when fighting a large number of fairly large just by some of the other Bankai.
Oh, no,
Jakuho Raikoben is a Bankai that manifests as a giant missile that Soifon can fire at any enemy. It creates a fairly large explosion, so it's also very good for crowd control when fighting a large number of opponents. The first problem with this Bankai is its extremely limited usability. Originally, Soifon could only really fire off a single missile once every.
Alright, let's just read it, because I feel like he's gonna talk too much. You know I'm gonna talk too much. Okay. Soy Fungs Bankai. Let's just look at it. We're not gonna look at anything else because she obviously has. So let's look at her Bankai. Upon activating, Bankai Pillar of Ryatsu shoots into the air before fading and appearing, yada yada, gold armor, missile launcher, base, and comes all the way above her shoulder to form a face shield that she uses to cover the right side of her face. The entire Bankai is made up of a large pointed gold cylinder with the black markings, twice as before she activated her Bankai Soifang wrapped the heavy metal, yada yada yada. She uses her Bankai so rarely that it remained largely unseen by the members of the Soul Society. Even her own lieutenant comments on having never seen it before. Soifang explains that she would prefer not to use her Bankai. She believes that it offends her pride as a covert ops because it's too large to hide, too heavy to move, and its attack is too flashy for assassination. So this is like another weak Bankai, so it's too heavy to move. So I assume you have to stand still to hold this thing, but assuming it's Ichigo should be able to carry this shit no problem, right? Being a ranged weapon of the artillery for Jakuho, Raikoben has the ability to launch the missile attached to its base. Must first raise and aim the huge missile using the stilts present in her face guard to be able to see. While doing so, once targeted, small fins extend and numerous yada yada. After a successful hit, creates a powerful massive explosion. Explosion is strong enough to crack Shiju Simon, something Hachigen Ushoda notes to be impressive, and heavily injure Baragon, Lucia Barn, and BG9. This is the that guy that I just said. That's the guy that can, like, if he touches anything, he'll turn it into dust. So this is like another one of those things where it's like it's trash, but it's like meh. It does increase her power, so whatever. 10 times multiplier. There's no hacks. Her Shikai is what gives her like the hacks, where if she touches you like twice in the same area, you die. So that one is like the broken one. This one just does a lot of damage. So it just giant missile. Giant missile Bankai. That's all I'm gonna write. All right, next part. Next part. Let's see. Okay, who's next?
Nomura's Kokujo Tengen Myo. Now, as a reminder,
So this one is also another one of those that is like pretty fucking trash because, well, you know why. Not good. It's gonna turn your sword into a giant monster. This is the equivalent of like Zenbone Zakura. It's not good. So let's look at this. Kokujo Tengen Myo. After yada yada. Okay, so this thing is apparently after uses humanization technique to regain his lost human form and activates his Bankai. He can initiate this technique, causing the armor of Kokujo Tengen to break off in large chunks, posing a demonic visage with a thick cord wrapped around its torso. Because its armor is its life, by shedding the armor, Kokujo Tengen is literally casting its life aside. Due to the nature of the technique used to attain this form and its symbiotic connection with its wielder, this Bankai is virtually invulnerable to physical harm, quickly regenerating from all harm done to its body in the battle against Bambiera Masturbine. This proved to be uniquely suited to countering the explode, as there was no reishi in the giant itself to detonate, and its attacks were powerful enough to actually push back Bam. So essentially, this thing's indestructible. That's pretty much what it is. That's it. So giant dog robot Bankai. That's so we got 5 Bankai down.
most of these Bankai that I'm speaking about are perfectly fine. Tengen Myo is a Bankai that manifests of this form comes with quite a few limitations. 13 Data Book, Automatic Speed of Light. Now don't worry, thinking reliant on his ability to nail targets will be problematic for one of the slowest captains, who is essentially up against characters who can move faster than the speed of light. Bankai, which draws heavy inspiration from Buddhist themes. This results in an design Sensei Mugurama not withstand explosive Bankai. Tekken Tachikaze on this list.
Tekken Tachikaze, okay. This is the next one. This is like another like enhancing shit. Tekken Tachikaze. Okay. Despite the small size of his Shikai. Okay, let's just go to the Bankai. Iron Fist, Severing Wind. Upon activation, an explosion of wind erupts around Kensei, and when it disperses from a single combat, knife, bear, yada yada, which tapers off around, much like armor, while a thicker purple band arches behind him over his head. All of its Shikai forms destructive power into its knuckle blade. As a result, Kensai's punches release immense explosive force on impact. The explosive power continues to assault his opponent endlessly as long as his fist remains in contact with his opponent. When using this ability, Kensei can change its knuckle blades into brass knuckles as well as spike gauntlets. So, alright. So if he touches you, Iron Fist Bankai. If he touches you and remains touching you, explosions. Forever. Till you die. Next Bankai.
While the Bankai takes up the form of double Like I've mentioned earlier on, several Bleach Tachikawa Bankai in Trope of Death by Man music golden element.
I'm a therapist who goes to therapy, and some people
No. No ad.
Now this variability does, however, clear music in all. Next Bankai in the 24th spot is none other than Rose's
Kinshara's Butudan. Butudon? Butudadong? Adadudadong? Butadong? Okay. Let's write this shit down. Next, we're gonna be doing Naruto, by the way, if you guys are still watching, because this is gonna take forever. This is gonna take fucking forever, bro. Okay, Zanpakuto, Shikai, Bankai. Upon activation, Kinshara Butadan expands to form a large pair of floating hands, with one holding a large conduction baton. Let's see, several large being with petal-shaped protrusions. Okay, that's just Bankai special ability. Allows Rose to use magic to create physical illusions. Rose states his music gives him power over his target's heart. As long as the target's heart is deceived, the illusions are realistic and powerful enough. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this. So Rose states, powerful enough to physically damage the target and affect surroundings as if they are real. Rose claims that his illusions can make the opponent stop breathing. The various attacks which the illusions... Okay, so this is just hacks. So we're just gonna... Hacks. Controls these dances by conducting them. Yada yada. Okay. Spin around, they create yada due to the effects the target actually believes they are being drowned and constricted within a whirlpool. So sea drift. So this is actually a good ability for Luffy to like stop Luffy. Essentially, he can essentially make Luffy believe that he's drowning, and that would fuck him up big time because he's already a Dofu user. Due to the effects, the target actually believes they are being burned, manifesting real pain. So this is just hacks, essentially. So this is like music illusion technique guy. This one's good. This one's really good. Music Bankai makes you feel like drowning, burning, and can make your heart stop beating. Or stop breathing. Ouch, my back.
Possibly in all of which, we quickly learn that the true power of Kinshara Bitoden is essentially an illusion. The music created probably one of the most obvious weaknesses in the entire series.
Yeah,
because of its
your
power
dreams.
relying on sound, it needs the opponent to be within dropping obvious hints to them on how best to counter him, all because he prioritizes style be funny and tragic at the same time. So let's try to distract ourselves with the next Bankai on the list, which just so happens to be the perfect Bankai to counter Kinshara Bitoden. The next Bankai then ends Suzumushi Suishiki Enma. I'm of course talking about...
This is the guy that removes all like senses, right? Like this guy has a good Bankai. This is great hacks. This is a good one. Mushi's Sushiki's Enma Kurogi. This is like the big ball of black space, essentially. This Bankai form of maintains its form of a regular katana, though without the small ring. The user holds up his sword up in his right hand and places his left palm against the ring. On his cross guard, the ring begins to spin as it releases spiritual energy. Bankai's main ability revolves around creation of a vacuum that nullifies the senses of spiritual energy, sight, sound, scent, called Mumyu. Unlike with some Zanpakuto, does not convert itself into a massive dome creates during Bankai. Instead, the dome serves as a separate extension of Zusumushi itself, allowing the user to wield its field form as a weapon while inside the dome, but preventing him from using its abilities. The dome only exists as long as the user wills it to, or if he happens to become seriously injured. In either circumstance, the dome shreds apart and dissipates. So nullifies the senses of sight, sound. So more perception shit. This is like more hacks. Blind guy. Energy. Sight, and or I should say, I guess, nullifies. Nullifies sight and sound. And scent. So, more hacks. So, essentially, he has 4 hacks abilities so far. I am hoping everything starts.
Kaname Tozen's Suzumushi, Suishiki,
I didn't
and
realize that
Makorogi. This
this many,
Bankai
like,
crafts a
useless
dark realm
Bankai.
which immerses its target into an abyss which is devoid of both. Now, of course, this is easier said than done, as the 22nd position in our ranking list is none other than the Icy Bankai Daiguren Hyorin Maru.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Can I get a Bankai?
Which of course belong list is none other than the
I guess I have to put the Daiguren part. This one is like a stat amp, and I think it's a worst version of Rukia's Del Fruit, or not Del Fruit, freaking Bankai. Cause his thing is like what? It's not really. I have to see what it looks like at full power. So I mean, let's see if I can find anything. Can I not find anything? I mean, I wrote it exactly. Daiguren. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Maybe that's why. Hyorin Maru. Nope. Keeps giving me the spirit. Can I? Let me see. Okay, Zanpakuto, maybe. Okay. I think this will give it to me. Okay, Bankai. Icy Wind before transforming into Icy Blue Serpentine Ice Dragon with large wings. Bankai Spirit. In this form, Hyorin gains several abilities. He can use his wings for flight. The Daiguren can freeze and shatter nearby objects by screaming. This technique is effective even against powerful enemies like Ryujin Jaka, Unnamed, Ice Beam, He'll fire a powerful beam of ice from his mouth. This attack is strong enough to temporarily freeze the flames. The most powerful fire type Zanpakuto in all Fire Society. Okay. So it's just freezing shit. That's all I like. It shatters and it freezes shit. Alright. I understand how this Bankai is better than the blind guy's Bankai, but sure. Ice Dragon Bankai can shatter stuff with ice powers. Yeah, pretty much. GG. That's basically all he does.
Icy Bankai Daigurin Hyorin Maru, which on one hand, it can generate vast city-sized volumes of ice in mere seconds, as well as being able to genuinely find is still one of the hit choice, but I Sogi G's list visually captivate the reasons in the story. We have Mayuri's
Konjiki. Okay, yeah, this is this weird transformation thing. How the fuck is this one better than the Ice Dragon one? Like, doesn't this shit just poison shit? Man, then again, a lot of you guys probably in Bleach died to poison. Like, if Ichigo gets hit by this poison, is he gonna die? He's probably gonna die, right? Like, I assume he's gonna die, like, or else this Bankai is just useless. Let's see. Zanpakuto creates breath of poison, which is lethal to anyone who inhales it. The poison spreads through a wide area and is almost impossible to avoid. Golden leg. So, poison, if you inhale it, you die. GG. Poison Bankai, Caterpillar. You inhale, you die. GG, good game. Yeah, I assume this thing would just kill Ichigo if he I guess breathes it in. I assume if anyone breathes this shit in, they die. Like Yamamoto's dying. Like this is just hacks, right? Like
via the attack which destroys Mayuri and his Bankai, they will have most likely already succumbed to his Bankai's poison. Konjiki Ashisogi Jizo is a Bankai that has only one really broken basic ability. Now while we are on the subject of poison themed Bankai, there's another one that might just surpass Mayuri's ineffectiveness, and it just so happens to be the next Bankai which has earned the 20th spot on this list.
Kamishini no Yari. I mean, yeah, he did give Uryu the antidote, so it's like, my guy, you would have died. You would have died. So yeah, I assume this shit will kill like literally anybody. So it's just poison hacks. Okay, okay. This guy has no information. Length or speed, but rather its ability to turn into dust for just a second when it expands out and contracts, for there is a deadly poison inside of the blade which dissolves and breaks down cells. Jin can leave a sliver of his Zanpakuto in an opponent when he retracts Kamishini no Yari in an opponent. When he retracts Kamishini no Yari allows him to kill an opponent at any time by uttering the technique name while placing his hand up to the target. This causes the target to completely break down and dissolve at a cellular level from the inside out. So more poison, and I mean shit. So if he touches you with the sword, he's gonna break you down on a cellular level. And oh, one thing I have to break down before we continue, because a lot of people like to just say like, well, Ichigo could just slice you and then you're dead. That's it. Like he'll cut you on a spiritual level and you'll die. Okay, so the biggest problem with this is that all of these guys are spirits. So that means if they touch anybody and even slightly graze them, dead. Because I don't think you guys understand what it means to like really like to hurt someone on a spiritual level is would be like beyond pain. It's like you just killed that guy's soul. Like he essentially is lifeless, is what you're saying. So I don't think Ichigo has this hacks where you can just like, you know, quote unquote slice a human and their spirit is just gone forever. Like no, that's kind of crazy. I think you guys are smoking a little bit too much weed at that point. So length Bankai. Cellular level. I mean, they're all spirits. It's like when this guy cuts Aizen, Aizen would just die. Anyone would just die. If Ichigo gets cut, dead. If anyone gets cut, dead. It's like they're all spirits, so that doesn't really even make sense.
And it's none other than Kamishini no Yari.
I've heard people say this on YouTube videos that I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? They're all spirits. It's like saying getting hit with a Kamehameha is gonna fucking kill you just by like no.
The Lance of Deicide. I initially struggled with where I would rank this Bankai on this list, but after even greater power than it. The next Bankai needs no introduction as it's wielded by the iconic
Rio Rikyu. I don't know where the fuck you guys get that shit from. Because a lot of people should be dead then, based off of that logic. Kenpachi should be dead. If you cut someone's spirit, their soul, that's like just GG. Like, they just die. Like, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Like, that person is just dead. Okay. Then and transforms into a dome of lightning, stationed far above his head and fastened to yada yada. A single pillar also reaches the top. Okay, Bankai special ability is a Bankai that can exert a very powerful Ryatsu. It is capable of affecting the weather, similar to the way Toshido Hitsugaya can facilitate the use of its powers. Through the use of gestures with his blade, Chojiro can direct powerful lightning bolts to strike his opponent from the sky. Lightning infusion can infuse the sword with immense amounts of lightning as he moves to attacks his opponent with 1,000 years ago. This technique was strong enough to scar Yamamoto's forehead. Okay. So lightning Bankai. That's it. That's all it really is. Just lightning Bankai. I don't know how the fuck this one is better than lightning Bankai. Pretty much. That's all it is. Just lightning Bankai.
Chojiro Sasakibe, who, if you 18th spot of the most powerful Bankai, is one that many of you may not be aware of because it is a light novel exclusive Bankai. It's none other than the Bankai of Kenpachi Kuriyashiki. It is called Gagaku Kairo. This power-up has ended up being usually mean Shinji's Bankai. This is because of the indiscriminate being banned from has ended up because it is a light novel most powerful Bankai is one that many of you may not
Gagaku Kairo. Okay, let's search up this guy. Gaku Kairo. Okay, Danpato. Whenever Kuryushiki uses his Bankai once deactivated, he will be unable to use it again for 6 months. God damn. That's kind of a big weakness. The jaws summoned by Kuryusaki Bankai are extremely ravenous and ferocious, devouring anything and everything within their reach, both living and inanimate, except for. Because of this, it was dangerous enough that Central 46 forbade from ever using it inside the Serete. The Bankai is powerful enough that Soya Ashashiro believed it would have negated Ashashiro's own Bankai capability and lost against. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Let me search up this guy. Bankai. So let me see. All Bankai have some sort of drawback to use. Her drawback means that as long as her Bankai remains active, Ashashiro's physical bug cannot be trained, preventing him from getting stronger conventionally and leaving him severely weakened if his Bankai would be negated. Lower durability. Having had his Bankai active for 250 years as a result of its weakness, was so weak that Rokognai Ruffian would probably be able to kill him. Indeed, a misfired Hado spell caused by staff manages to severely injure him. This is the worst fucking Bankai ever! Because living beings reject his Bankai's presence much more strongly than anything else. Successfully merging with his opponent's body using this technique comes at a cost of a great internal injury to Ashashiro. While the ability of to fuse with Reishi makes it very difficult, if not impossible, to hurt him conventionally. It does make him extra vulnerable to any abilities focused on absorption. For example, Kajuga to absorb Yatsu and Pikaru's, which sucks in Reishi like a black hole, or even a Quincy's ability to absorb form spirit weapon are highly dangerous to Asashiro. All Bankai have some sort of event to use. Her drawback means that as long as her Bankai remains active, it cannot be trained. Lower durability. So this Bankai just makes you weaker. Straight up! How the fuck is this Bankai good? Okay, we're not even gonna add this Bankai because actually we're gonna have to remove it. So it's like a 0.29 because apparently this Bankai makes you weaker.
Be aware of because it is a light novel exclusive Bankai. It's none other than the Bankai of Kinpachi Kuryashiki. It is called Gagaku Kairo. This power-up has earned the reputation of being so unbelievably powerful that it was in fact banned from ever being used within the Soul Society. It's important to clarify, just because it was banned doesn't necessarily mean that it's really powerful. There are other Bankai that warrant being banned from the Soul Society, like Shinji's Bankai. This is because of the indiscriminate nature of a Bankai's power, because there is a risk of collateral damage if such a Bankai is activated near allies. Now, Gagaku Kairo is banned for a relatively different reason. It was forbidden because it destroys things on a really massive scale, so huge that it threatens the very Soul Society itself. Now, how does it do this? Well, it uses a complex series of highly destructive fangs, which manifest as a gigantic mouth which swallows the entire area, devouring both living and non-living things, as this Bankai indiscriminately eats absolutely everything, aside from Kuryashiki himself. It's really difficult to imagine just how this would look or even the speed at which this takes place due to the lack of material visually representing this.
Okay, so devouring Bankai eats everything. just everything. It just eats everything.
Bankai because it's a light novel exclusive one. I mean, we do get an animation of it from Brave Souls, but it doesn't really drops, which suggests when you combine this with the fact that Kinpachi Kuriyashiki himself was invited to join the Zero Division, it further emphasizes just how strong he was, which gives more credibility to the broken nature of his Bankai. You may be thinking that possessing such a powerful Bankai must come with a catch. Well, let's just say that Gagaku Kairo actually comes with one of the most daunting drawbacks in the series.
Yes, the 6-month thing, right? That's it. Okay, moving on. No, you cannot help me today.
If you ever tried asking questions to chat,
Loki, I'm getting freaking hungry, but we're gonna keep pushing on. Jesus Christ, there's so many Bankai. I don't want to do this
Punishing to use.
anymore,
Our next
to be
Bankai
honest.
falls under the
'Cause I'm
exact
hungry.
same umbrella. This Bankai belongs to the extremely loyal Captain Seijin Komomura.
Kokujo Tengen. Yo, if he's not adding that one Bankai that makes you weak, like GG, good game. That one actually decreases your power. You can't even get stronger with this Bankai. So wouldn't that Bankai just nullify all the other Bankai? I'm talking about this one right here. It literally says stagnant body, lower durability. Because living beings reject his Bankai's presence much more strongly than anything else, successfully merging with his opponent's body using this technique comes at a cost of great internal injury to Ashashiru, which is this guy right here. This is Soya Ashishiru, captain of the 11th Division. He essentially makes himself weak. Kaido Masters, Zanpakuto. He does not know the release call of his Zanpakuto in Shikai form. The sword has no unique features and is compared in appearance to a standard. The Shikai does not possess an ability of its own and is instead entirely dependent on the Bankai. However, once... Jesus Christ, my dog. My thing still recording? Yes, I'm still recording. Hello! Okay. Still recording. Yeah, I mean, this Bankai just makes you weaker, my G. Oh, okay. Those were the weaknesses. Okay. Let me read this Bankai. Ashishiru Bankai is fused with all its surrounding, and to control it, this power that extends to everything, even the air and the ground. Of course, I assume he's gonna go through this Bankai. If not, I mean, like, shit.
Komomura. And during the 1,000-year Blood War arc,
Okay, so let's just continue in order.
utilizing this power is simply too harsh in my opinion. Speaking
Because all I saw were the weaknesses. I went on the website and I clicked Bankai or Zanpakuto, and it just took me all the way to weaknesses. I guess I clicked weaknesses by accident. My bad. But that's a big weakness, because it's like, yo, it makes it so that you can't train, so you can't get any stronger. So you're stagnant. But like, now if it has an ability, I'm like, what? Why is this a Bankai? This just sounds like it has drawbacks.
Bankai that are unfairly punishing to use, our next Bankai falls under the exact same umbrella. This Bankai belongs to the extremely
Kokujo Tengen Miyo. Okay. Okay. Kokuju. Isn't this the... This is the Beast guy. This is the Beast guy, I just realized. He lost his soul. He's like, he can only do this shit one time. Yeah, we already did this Bankai.
loyal Captain Seijin Komomura. And during the 1,000-year Blood War arc, his Bankai actually, time runs out, the repercussions.
Yeah. He turns his sword into a giant monster. Thing is horrible.
True Bankai of Renji Abarai So'o Zabimaru. Renji, which, let's be honest, don't think technically Hihio Zabimaru, and instead opts for something much sleek, which is capable of Zaga Teppo. With the evolved version of his Bankai, Renji offers a more straightforward,
Okay,
effective
so
Bankai that
they're just
higher
redoing
powerful Bankai.
some
Matai,
Bankai.
Fukuin, Shotai. It's undeniable that Mayuri needed a Bankai enhancement. While his original Bankai, Konjigi Ashisogi Jizo, is undeniably deadly with its poison mist ability, which like I mentioned earlier is the only real thing going for Mayuri's original Bankai. The evolved version, similar to the previous iteration, manifests a giant baby upon activation. But this time, the giant baby is actually purple and it looks less nightmarish than the original. Now, if a giant purple humanoid baby wasn't disturbing enough, it also gives birth to another giant baby whose abilities are defined by the individual that Mayuri is facing.
So one thing, there's not actually 30 Bankai. There's just 30 different versions of Bankai. So those are 3 Bankais that we gotta. So we're actually gonna have to nerf Ichigo
Off
here
against
because there's true Bankais.
Battle. So simply put, the second giant baby possesses.
I mean, does it say anywhere where it's like how strong is a true Bankai? How strong is a true Bankai? Does it have a multiplier? True Bankai multiplier. Bankai, which focuses destructive, generally have a multiplier of 5 times to 10 times. Assuming Ichigo's Bankai has a power multiplier on the low end, his raw power would still be greater than. Yes. I mean, based off of this, I mean, it still sounds like it's 5-10 times multiplier. So, yeah. So we're gonna have to reduce this multiplier that I wrote down. So it's not 1 IE plus 30. It's gonna be like 1 IE plus like plus 27, I think.
Possesses
Because this is one guy. They had the Beast guy and they had Renji. So those are 3 people. So I'm gonna have to nerf him. Nerf by 3 for now.
Abilities that
But
perfectly
for now,
counteract those
have
of
to
his
see.
opponent. So how does this work? Well, his Bankai is able to achieve this based on the information that Mayuri gives it during battle. So essentially, the success of the counter created by this Bankai relies entirely on Mayuri's ability to fully comprehend the full scope of his opponent's powers, and he has to relay this information to his Zanpakuto perfectly. This power combined with the intellect of Mayuri appears to be a formidable combination, but despite Mayuri's high intellect, the limitations of this power become apparent very quickly. The first limitation of Matai Fukuen Shotai is its dependency on witnessing the opponent's capabilities firsthand. The challenge here is that Mayuri needs to survive the initial attack. Despite how strong Mayuri may come across, he's easily one of the physically weakest captains, if not he has a chance to even he can't actually on Hashward. What would he do to survive any of that initial attack? Exact secondly, additional of Lai's pronouncing ability, which was Pronaida's.
I guess he can like beat anybody. I guess I'm just gonna assume he like. If we're assuming they like the true Bankai or just the Bankai that's shown, I'm not gonna add this because it doesn't make any sense. This is like it's just the same fucking Bankai. It's like saying awakening essentially. Like, does Luffy have all awakenings too? Like, God, like we don't even know what that looks like.
Devastating might, making.
If I take Katakuri's awakening, if I take Doflamingo's awakening, if I take every awakening we've ever seen, it's like at that point it's like GG good game. Like what that multiplier is gonna be like some crazy shit.
Yet both breathtaking and very deadly. Despite its apparent simplicity, this Bankai brings a lot to the table. It manifests a massive swarm of small pink blades that resemble
Yeah. Zenbone Zakura Kageyoshi no Bankai, motherfucker. Let me see. Zenbone Zakura. Zenbone Zakura. Kageyoshi. No Bing Bang Bankai, motherfucker. Rose Bankai. Rose powers. I guess we can add to Renji's fucking, you know, turn into ash, I guess. And then the poison one, I guess, if we're gonna add this shit, if we're gonna add the true Bankai, if the user tanks an attack, if they are smart enough, they can win. They can win the battle, the fight. GG, good game. That I just assume it's like some sort of hacks. Whatever, fine.
Cherry blossoms. Byakuya's ability to control and direct these small fragments grants him deadly
Because
character like
based
Lil
off
Barrow
of this,
or
right?
even
If
Hashbi
I'm
would flat out die before being able to relay any information to his Zanpakuto. This completely cripples.
if this is Ichigo, right? Like Ichigo's very, very strong, right? So assuming he has to actually eat the attack, right? Like just straight up eat the attack. Like I don't think Ichigo's gonna ever use this Bankai. If I'm being flat out honest.
Mayuri's chances of using
Because he's not smart. Assuming he knows how to use all the Bankai, right? And this like Omega Sword technique. He's gonna like lose his sword. Now I could argue like in this scenario he's just summoning shit and he has like a bunch of monsters surrounding him and they're like ready to attack and all this shit. Sure, fine.
this incredibly
right
strong
ahead.
ability, because surviving the power of an unknown ability will be much more than he can actually handle. For example, let's say he hypothetically had fought a character like Lil Barrow or even Hashward. What would he do to survive any of their initial attacks in order to gain any information from them? I don't see it playing out very well for him, and that's exactly my point. He needs to experience the powers of his opponents before beginning to create a cure to them, which is a risk that he
Yes. So he creates a cure.
activate its full power. Taking the 14th spot, we have Byakuya Kuchiki's
Zanbal's
Senbon
Kura
Sakura
Rose
Getsu. Now, of
Petal.
course, I am referring to Ichigo's false Bankai Tensei Zangetsu. This is a power-up that I really struggle to properly place within this ranking list, because for
Gives him
one
speed
reason
and
or the
power.
other, it could come up being
Ichigo's Bankai. Gives him more power. More speed. That's pretty much it.
ranked much higher, or it could end up being ranked much lower. And after thinking of it for quite a while, I decided on placing it here, which is just above the midpoint of this ranking list, which hopefully won't cause too Yuho back during the first Quincy invasion. Now, his speed alone in this state would allow him to easily get around almost all the abilities that are possessed by any of the Bankai that I've spoken about, which are ranked below it. Tensei Zangetsu is the
True.
push to the absolute brink. Now, this might of that thing upon himself. At the number 13 spot. Moving on, the Bankai of Soya Azashiro Urozakuro clinches the 12th spot, which
This is this guy, right? Okay, so we're gonna read this guy's fucking Bankai. I'm pretty sure this is him. Yes, this is him. Alright! This Bankai special ability. The power of Ashishiro's Bankai is to fuse with all surroundings and to control it. This is a power that extends to everything, even the air and the ground. According to Yorichi Shihon, Ashishiro's inner world is constantly fused with the outside world. Ashishiro used this power to fuse his own being with various portions of the Serite, which makes Serite itself a mere extension of his being, and allows him to perceive everything that goes on with the area, whether they be living or non-living, organic or inorganic. Likewise, he can merge two or more substances together as well. Oh my goodness, this Bankai is crazy. It's like he's just the world. I am the world. Not just physical, but anything mental and spiritual are also just subject to influence. Hyper awareness. Ashishiro can sense everything that happens in the space he is fused with as if it's happening inside him. Gross. Before being imprisoned in the Muken, Ashishiro was already merged with the whole Serite. He retained the ability and could hear, sense, and watch everything that happened inside the Serite. He was already aware of Ichigo and the insurrection of Aizen, and even knew about Yumi Chika's Shikai, among other things. Using the same ability allows him to outmaneuver Sasuke Sasuke Aizen's Kyote Suigetsu, though this feat itself took Ashishiro 2 days. Ashishiro forcibly merges with the victim's body and destroys it from the inside by targeting heart and surrounding muscles, was able to eviscerate and kill him. Due to having merged with Shinigami research, the instant supply of Jigai, Ashishiro is capable of using their mouths and hands several times over, among other body parts in several different locations at once. Doing so allows him to utilize hundreds of high-level Kido, such as Hado, captain level opponent, or stronger, with overwhelming assaults of Kido while not needing to sacrifice any physical part of himself. Environmental control. Ashishiro can shape and manipulate the environment, whether natural or artificial, everything in it. Teleportation. He can use this technique to teleport vast distances effortlessly, appearing akin to that of space-time manipulation. Blade manipulation. Reshape and control at will hundreds of invisible blades from anything in the air around him, allowing him to kill his opponent without a single motion or a glance. Invisibility. Ashishiro merges with the surrounding air to become invisible. Oakley dokley, this is a lot of fucking shit in one. I did not know about this Bankai, so I'm gonna have to write this fucking one on the side just so I can fucking read it. Oakley dokley, this is a lot. So he gets invisibility. That's a big one. So it's like, can Naruto and Luffy even see this fucker? Then the other one, teleportation. Teleportation. Environmental control. Control. Merges with everything and can control essentially everything. It's basically what it seems like. With it, essentially. And then on top of that, hyper awareness. This is just his Bankai, right? Like, yeah, this is just his this is just his Bankai, my G. Like, he just all this in one Bankai. God damn, my boy. Hyper awareness. Can sense everything happening. So, it just says here he's already merged with everything in the Serite. He retained this ability and could hear and sense and watch everything that happened inside the Serite. He was already aware of Ichigo and the insurrection of Aizen. So yeah, I mean, the weakness of this shit. Okay, so I'm just gonna nerf this to 27 on this one, because some of these Bankai are like just like, okay, Ichigo's Bankai, just give him more speed, right? 10 times multiply, right? So this one I can probably add to be like 28, right? Because it's like, okay, 10 times on top of true Bankai's 10, another 10 times. But with Renji's true Bankai, it's like, okay, it's like another 10 times, but fucking what the fuck is going on? Like, so do I give that one a it's like, I feel like I'm just gonna go back. Yeah, fuck it, just give it 30 plus 30, because like it's 10 times on top. Oh, hey, he has his true Bankai. Oh, okay, another 10 times. Fuck it, might as well just leave it plus 30. Fuck it. I'm not gonna deal with this shit. I'm not. Might as well just give him plus 30. Fucking plus 30. It is what it is. Another 10 times, another 10 times. It'd probably be like, if it was 5 times, it'd probably be like, if we lowballed it, it'd be like 15, I think. It'd be like plus 15 or maybe less. It'd probably be less, like way less. But we're not gonna do that. We're just maximizing here. So 2 power and speed. 2 power and speed. 2 power and speed. Essentially. Mind you, this is not even including all the abilities Ichigo has. Ichigo has his like true holification that like he has the horn coming out, so that's like another 10 times. Like he should be way stronger. Like it's crazy. And then on top of that, he also has his Quincy powers. So we're just gonna chalk all this up to like another 10 times. So we're just gonna say, okay, true holification 10 times. So 31. And then on top of that, he has his Quincy form. That's another 10 times. And that's it? Yes, Quincy, Hollow, and Soul Reaper. So 32? Yeah, 32. So plus 32. Assuming that's all like another 10 times. And I think you could probably argue another 10 times because his true holification keeps getting stronger and stronger every time he uses it. Since it's like true holification, this is what he's supposed to look like. He's fully merged with holification and Quincy powers. Let's just... Oh shit, I got scared. For a second there, I thought my PC fucking froze. I would have cried. So let's just say it's like plus 33. Let's just say it's like plus 33. He's like truly. It's like times 20 essentially is what I just did on holification. Yes. Back to the fucking video. Actually not back to the video. Okay, so Hyper can sense everything happening in an area, can merges with everything and control everything by merging with it. Environmental control, teleportation, invisibility. Ichigo's Bankai just give him more power, more speed. I mean, I'm gonna add weaknesses, I think, because it's only fair, because all Bankais do have weakness. So, after he uses this Bankai, he can't use it for the next 6 months. If he decides to fucking... Because he's just gonna start devouring everything on... the second this fucking Bankai done, that's it. Everything's just gonna start getting devoured. So this one, like, okay, so he's gonna be invisible. He has environmental control. So he can pretty much control everything. He can teleport instantly anywhere he wants, essentially, as long as he's, I guess, controlling it. Lightning Bankai does just more speed, length. So a lot of these Bankais are fucking useless, like I said. So, assuming he has this giant dog Bankai, like, it's gonna get consumed by this devouring Bankai that eats everything. Unless we're assuming it won't eat the giant dog robot Bankai, and the giant, like, the giant missile one is, like, kind of pointless. It's just a big bomb. Can change perception, then there's the blind thing. So, either we are assuming that the perception one is also creating an area on top of the mist, also fucking up your perception. So now your double perception fucking getting fucked up. And once the poison touches you, you also die. Right? Oh, and if he sings any note, he can just stop your heart from beating or stop your breathing. Pretty much. I mean, he could do like multiple things at once, right? Because this, he could Bankai one time. How would I look at this exactly if I had to like understand this? Okay, so he Bankais, and then if he does the black space area where like you have no perception. This one is kind of weird because does it devour that area too? Or is it like can you even escape this area? Like, okay, So he makes a cage. He's gonna do a room. I assume it's inescapable unless you do damage to the guy. All right, let's just continue. Fuck it. We'll discuss this later because there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit.
Which makes it just shy of entering into the list of top 10 Bankai. Determining its rank was once again challenging due to its astoundingly incredible abilities, and the gap in level of Reiatsu between him and some of the other more powerful characters in the series who boast equally as impressive Bankais, to be honest. After taking everything into consideration, I think that I'm happy with it. Just don't ask me how this aspect works because
The only thing that's real in this commercial
a bit confusing. This Bankai gives Azashiro a level of range and versatility that almost no other Zanpakuto can compete with. In case he needs to spy on an area to gain specific information, Azashiro can just merge his senses with the air, which makes it so that wherever the air is, his senses are also active. He can see, hear, and feel anything in that area. In case he needs to bind or restrict an opponent, and he doesn't feel like just using Kido, he can manipulate the ground and the walls to trap his opponent within them. If he needs a particular weapon or an object that is out of his reach, he can just manipulate and merge different objects in order to create exactly what he's looking for. Frankly, his mastery over his power is so incredible that he is one of the only characters who could use that power to escape the effects of Aizen's Kyoka Suigetsu. It's just ridiculous how much Azashiro can do. The longer that I spend thinking about his powers, the more possibilities pop up into my mind.
Shit. So wait. He could get out of an illusion essentially.
As to what he can do with his Bankai. The point is that Azashiro's Bankai is really overpowered and broken, but what about its weaknesses? Due to how his ability allows him to merge with anything, this backfires on him massively when he is up against any Reishi absorbing abilities. While this is a rather niche ability amongst the Shinigami and even Hollows, it is on the other hand very common amongst the Quincy, who rely on gathering Reishi for their power. Uro Zakuro is a Bankai so impossibly broken that it's difficult to not take its abilities into consideration, even if Azashiro lacks any raw power which is comparable to some of the characters at the endgame of Bleach. So
if Ichigo uses this thing, he's gonna be one-shottable, essentially. He's essentially one-shottable.
Than Unohana Yachiru's Minazuki, being the
Minazuki. Okay. Because that's the main weakness of it. Unless we're assuming, like, Ichigo's durability is just far beyond this guy. It's like, based off of what I understand, I mean, he could pretty much manipulate everything. He could teleport anywhere. But if you absorb the area, it's going to fucking kill him. Pretty much. Okay. Enhance speed. Dodging all Ichigo Kurisaki's attacks while leading him toward Yamamoto. Okay.
Bankai of the first Kinpachi, I wish that its true power wasn't so shrouded in mystery, but at the very least, the anime did give us a slightly clearer picture than the manga did, so we can try to work our way through how this Bankai works. From the Thousand Year Blood War arc anime, Minazuki's power is demonstrated to revolve around hemokinesis, or in other words, blood manipulation. It's a Bankai that generates a massive flood of blood in an enclosed space and seemingly drenches her blade in the same blood as well. Unohana uses this blood to enhance the damage of her sword's slashes, and then she uses it to also extend the range of her sword. She is able to manipulate the blood from Minazuki to shoot literal waves of blood at her opponents. The anime also shows us that the power of Minazuki grants Unohana what appears to be instant regeneration also, as she appears
Okay. So, instant regen. Extend blades length. And what else? Speed and power, I guess. Speed and power increase. Blood Bankai. Blood manipulation.
Appears to heal from Kinpachi's attacks during their fight. My personal theory is that Unohana isn't just given an insane healing factor with her Bankai, but rather it grants her complete immortality to some extent. Her Bankai creates a world where her blade can reach her enemies no matter how far away they are from her. It's a world where she has no fear of dying, and she can enjoy fighting for all eternity. And fascinatingly, even her opponent seems to gain some of these advantages. This observation is rooted in the anime's depiction where after activation of her Bankai, Kinpachi no longer requires to be healed. It's also clear that when she felt that Kinpachi had grown enough to be able to kill her, she had deactivated her Bankai the moment that he had landed his final slash. And this further supports my theory that she had immortality to some extent, while her
So she has immortality in this Bankai, essentially. Shit, I mean, at this point, you don't beat this shit then.
Bankai was active. To be honest, that's not even what makes Minazuki great. The aspect where it truly excels in is its ability to enable Unohana to rival and at times overpower Kinpachi across various facets of combat. This is honestly a greater achievement than anything most of the Bankai that are ranked below this one have ever achieved. Heck, even Azashiro and his absurdly broken Bankai lost to a much weaker Kinpachi than the one that Unohana had faced off against. And this is not even considering the multiple buffs that Kinpachi had during his battle against Unohana. Minazuki is an incredibly powerful Bankai that is unfortunately too mysterious for us to give it a solid scaling and rank, which is why the 11th place is as high as I could have placed it on this ranking list. We've reached the top tier. This is a powerful Bankai that tends to get overlooked by...
headcanon that she's getting, like, immortal. I mean, it doesn't say anything like that, but she's pretty much, like, can't kill this bitch. I mean, she did die, but I assume it's because of what? Let me see. Powers at bay. I mean, based off of this, I mean, as it appears in the anime example, let me see. I'm gonna look at her Bankai. Zanpakuto. Look at it. See what it says. Shikai release Bankai when initiating release alongside a blood. The bloodlight unleashed by it can be manipulated, potent, offensive, and defensive. The slashes from Una main where it can and swiftly attack her opponent from long distances. She can also create small blades by performing rapid slashes, creating loose. Rapidly heal any injuries she sustains without she can use heal any injury. No direction creating. Okay, so she's, let's just write that based off of this. I mean, she's like pretty much immortal. Let's just say can heal all wounds, essentially. Can heal all damage. So like pretty much immortal, I would say, like, that's unlike immortality. And this Bankai, pretty much immortal. Kind of. She still died in the end. I mean, she could have just kept fighting him and fighting him and fighting him over and over and over again.
Fans. Now I'm guessing that it's probably because we only ever see it once within the manga, but I think that it's about time that we give this Bankai the recognition that it truly deserves. Through science, we have confirmed that minus 273.15 degrees Celsius or 0 degrees Kelvin is the temperature at which all, and I mean all, atomic motion ceases. This is believed to be the coldest temperature that any substance can reach. It is absolute zero. Rukia's true Shikai allows her to lower her body temperature to this very level, but her Bankai truly takes this a step further. While lowering her body temperature to absolute zero, her Bankai also transforms her into an almost godlike form. Hako no Togame inverts what her Shikai does, where instead of the cold being focused within her body, the cold is sent rushing out in a mighty torrent of supernatural ice that drops the temperature of anything that it comes into contact with to absolute zero. This wave overwhelms and instantly kills anyone who's caught within its range. Unfortunately, due to the code still affecting her body, she can't really move while she is in her Bankai form unless she wants to risk completely shattering her body. Because of this, Byakuya describes her Bankai to be extremely cruel. This is the only real weakness that this Bankai possesses, which honestly pales in comparison to the power that it grants the user. Not to mention that Rukia's limitations in moving in that state are implied to be products of her own inexperience. So this isn't even a real limitation. Instead, it highlights that this is a newly acquired Bankai. Rukia will have had enough time to iron out some of these flaws so that she can utilize her Bankai to its fullest potential. So what actually happens to an opponent who is hit by the wave generated by Hakano Togame? Given that Absolute Zero destroys everything that it comes into contact with at an atomic level, the aftermath following an attack from this Bankai is horrifying to imagine. The real terror of this Bankai isn't just its raw power, but it's the fact that it's almost impossible to defend against unless you're able to teleport out of the location. So it doesn't matter if Rukia's opponent is really strong or durable. As long as they are made up of atoms and they are within the range of her attack, they will instantly be eradicated by it. Realistically, Rukia could eliminate almost any Bleach character if she caught them unprepared with her Bankai. The only thing that holds this fantastic Bankai back is her inexperience. But once Rukia fully masters this Bankai and she can overcome her movement restriction, there's no telling just how much insane power that she will wield. The limitless potential of Hakano on this list, which is the Bankai that belongs to none other than Kisuke Urahara. Despite how briefly this was shown within the manga, I believe that it made a great enough statement in order to merit it being ranked so highly on this list.
Okay, let's just search this one up. Yeah, no, Rukia's Bankai is fucking crazy strong. Crazy strong. Barake Tenihame Aratame. Okay, let's look at it. Zanpakuto. Let's see. Bankai. Urahara Bankai take the form of a giant woman with dark braided hair, arranged in loops on her head, yada yada. Is not fitting for training or helping others. Special ability has the ability to restructure anything it touches for both offensive and supportive purposes. Offensively, it can split open whatever is within its area of effect, as if cutting with a knife. This splitting is similar to the act of dissecting something by cutting it open. Supportively, it can restructure something by stitching it back together. This can be used as a form of healing, such as when Urahara restored his eyes using this power. It can also be used as a way to bring something to an optimal working state by enhancing it. Urahara used to overpower Askin Nakelebar by restructuring his arms to have greater strength. All uses of this are manifested in the form of cutting said objects into parts and then using stitches to sew pieces back together. With it, Urahara can also create a path for others to move through obstacles or barriers. So he can essentially manipulate anything, I guess. Can enhance strength. This is Urahara's, right? Yeah. I was gonna put Unohana's. Urahara's Bankai. Can enhance strength. Essentially. Limited range. In which it can use its power. If anyone were to move outside of this radius, any changes made to their body will revert back to normal. Temporary effects. This change is made by only seem to last as long as Bankai remains active. If the Bankai by any means all the changes has made will revert as evidence. Urahara stitches opening up again and his restored eyes disappear. Okay. So just limited healing, essentially. I don't understand how that's better than fucking Mizuki's one, but sure.
List. It possesses what is possibly the highest potential and versatility of any Bankai due to how absolutely endless the possibilities are when it comes to the application of this Bankai's power. Urahara's Bankai has the ability to restructure anything that its blade has touched. It's able to even achieve this remotely if his target is within a specified range. This power is not limited to offensive moves, like tearing adversaries apart. His Bankai is also able to heal damaged organs and even enhance Urahara's own physical form. During his battle with Askin, Urahara even leveraged this ability in order for Grimmjow to make an impactful entrance into the fight. The full potential and abilities of Kananbiraki Benihime Aratame have barely been explored within the narrative, as Kubo didn't even scratch the surface with this power, but we can connect a few dots and speculate on how his Bankai functions. Given Urahara's reputation as a brilliant scientist, many wonder how he had devised so many incredible inventions. I personally theorize that many of his inventions may be linked to his unparalleled capability to reshape anything. The way that his Bankai power is described suggests that Urahara might even be able to manipulate objects at a molecular level. This sheds a lot of light on some of the abilities that he demonstrated during his battle against Askin. One of the most interesting aspects of Urahara's Bankai power is its ability.
So you can restructure anything.
Next up, in 8th place, we have Shunsui Kyoraku's Theater of Death Katen Kyokotsu Karamatsu Shinju. This Bankai earns the reputation of being a one-of-a-kind wonder due to how complex and interesting its abilities are. It elevates its Shikai abilities to dramatic new heights. As one would expect from an exceptional Bankai, it transforms the surroundings into a theatrical 3-act play, dragging both Shunsui and his opponent into a series of compelling scenarios. Essentially, Katen Kyokotsu Karamatsu Shinju personifies the saying, "the world is a stage," before proceeding to thrusting its powers and abilities onto everybody else. The first act of this play involves the affliction of an unspecified disease on Shunsui's target. Because of the fast pace in which we progress from one act to the other, we don't really get an in-depth understanding of how the illness that he afflicts onto his opponent works. I guess you could chalk it up to Shunsui bestowing a severe spiritual affliction upon his opponents. The next act of Shunsui's Bankai reflects all of his wounds onto his opponent's body. If the first act wasn't enough to defeat the opponent, then Shunsui's own battle damage is there in order to amplify the effects of Act 1. The third act, which is the second to last act, engulfs both of the combatants in a vast aquatic expanse, which guarantees that neither of them can escape until they run out of spiritual pressure and die. In hindsight, when you look at the first two acts, I feel like they exist simply to give Shunsui a head start for Act 3, which I honestly find really funny. The fourth and final act of this Bankai is an instant kill technique, as it materializes a slender white thread that wraps itself around the enemy's neck, as this thread not only slices the throat, but it pretty much causes his target's head to explode off of their neck in one of the most dramatic ways possible. It sure is a dramatic way to end his theatrical play. But all of the flowery talk aside, what does this Bankai really do? Well, it creates an alternative dimension where the only rules that matter are the rules that are set by Karamatsu Shinju. It negates any powers that would prevent its progression through its acts, which...
Okay, so... create dimension and can write your fate. Rose petal guy Bankai. Really gotta fix my goddamn delete button. Been acting weird. Creates dimension and can write your fate. Rose petal guy Bankai. Pretty much one shots you. Will insta kill you in the end. Pretty much. That's pretty much what he does. Puts you in a play.
Which is why even
Okay,
Lil
ending
Barrow, a
dead.
character who should be completely intangible, can still take damage and be harmed by the effects of Shunsui's Bankai. This means that is combined with Aries, who can doubly Kaidori Yamamoto Bankai's Zanka no Tachi, belonging to none other than Head Captain Gen Ryusai Yamamoto. Now, I know that some of you...
Okay. Okay, so we're almost done. Yamamoto's Bankai. Long sword. Upon activation, any flames previously produced by Ryujin Jaka are instantly absorbed into the blade. Zanka no Taichi incorporates the full power of Yamamoto's flames into the blade. The flames within the blade burn anything it cuts out of existence. Has the side effects of generating a heat wave that depletes the moisture in an entire area, causing the air and the water to dry up. Even Toshiro's Hitsugaya's Bankai cannot be used for its ice melts due to the intense heat of Zanka no Taichi. No flames are visible as it cuts. Yamamoto claims releasing his Bankai clads both his blade and his body in flames of the sun. Retsu Unohana believes that the flames of Zanka no Taichi could incinerate the entirety of Soul Society if left active for too long. Okay, so existence erasure. So here we have a problem, right? Because now we have Bankais that are like kind of like countering each other. Because Rukia's thing is like temperature. And then this shit is essentially just fire. It's like, assuming both of them are activating at the same time, you're just gonna get erased out of existence and you're gonna be atomically fucking frozen at the same time. Essentially. Let's see. It engulfs his body in the heat, which reaches a temperature upwards of 15 million degrees Celsius. Therefore, it becomes impossible to even touch him while he is using his Bankai. The level of heat produced by his technique is so high, it not actually appear in the form of flames. 10 trillion fire dead. Impaling the tips of his sword into the ground, Yamamoto calls upon the corpse of ashes of the dead who were killed by his flames. Come forth and fight on his behalf. They emerge from a rupture. Let me see. A slash of concentrated fire and heat, which incinerates whatever it touches out of existence. So, existence erasure for sure. Okay, so yeah, I mean,
Damn, you're still going talking about One Piece. How's it going?
how the hell is Discord turned on? Right now I'm making a YouTube video, but it's fine. Don't worry, it's a live YouTube video.
Oh, I'll meet myself.
Nah, I'll just mute myself. It's fine. Sorry about that. So yes, that's pretty much gonna be that power, I guess. Pretty much.
You would have expected me to place this higher up in the rankings. So before you all go raging it is just any ordinary heat. We're talking about a staggering 15 million degrees, which is equivalent to the outermost part of the sun's atmosphere. His Bankai kicks off by coating himself and his...
What is 15 million degrees of heat even look like? I'm just curious. Let me see. 15 million degrees of heat. What is that? Like, what is that? The core of the sun is considered to extend from the center about. It has a density of at the center and the temperature of 15 million degrees Celsius Fahrenheit. So he's literally the fucking core of the sun.
Zanpakuto with these intense fiery flames. He also possesses the chilling ability to summon the charred skeletal remains of this ranking. Bankai Minazuki had also left us with many questions about the exact mechanics behind the abilities that she demonstrates in her Bankai form. We do know one thing for certain when it comes to Kenpachi Zaraki's Bankai. This demonic transformation elevates his tremendous strength to levels beyond comprehension. I mean, it's mind-boggling when considering that his Shikai already amplifies his power immensely. We are briefly introduced to his Bankai during Kenpachi's battle against Gerard Valkyrie. He was battling against an enemy who was strong enough to defeat the insane power of his Shikai. This resulted in Kenpachi awakening a power that completely overturned the tide of the battle. It gave him the power to overwhelm and casually kill Gerard. And from what we find out a few pages later, this doesn't even scratch the surface of the full potential of Kenpachi's Bankai. This is quite a similar situation to Rukia's Bankai, as Kenpachi's body begins to collapse because of the sheer amount of power that his Bankai possesses, meaning that his inexperience is the limiting factor when it comes to his Bankai. While this Bankai doesn't possess any of Zanka no Tachi's insane heat hacks, it does however surpass Yamamoto's Bankai in almost every other aspect. In terms of raw Reiatsu, Bankai State Kenpachi dwarfs both Lloyd and Hashward, both of whom had previously managed to withstand his presence. I'd even argue that Kenpachi in his elevated state held more Reiatsu than the version of Yhwach who ended up defeating Yamamoto.
Okay, so Kenpachi's Bankai makes him so strong that no one is comparable to him in strength. Essentially. That's pretty much what I understood.
This was Yhwach who had claimed that he could effortlessly absorb all of Yamamoto's power. There's a rod through his fight with Gremi and ends at his battle against Gerard that creates a massive power gap between Zanka no Tachi's Reiatsu output against the Reiatsu output he's used the top 10 skill Bankai Getsu belonging to our protagonist Ichigo Kurosaki. It's an extremely controversial Bankai for quite a number of reasons that I can't possibly get into in this video, but I do have a separate video covering my thoughts on Ichigo's true Bankai, where I speculate and theorize about its power in great detail. The true sense that it Tensai Zangetsu harbors a hidden power, and it's one that Ichigo hasn't really demonstrated yet. This power was so great that it terrified Yhwach, who had awakened the Almighty, that true power Ichigo ever got a chance to even use it. I know most of us like picking his Bankai in the future before Ichigo ever got a chance to even use it. I know most of us like to hammer on this moment as one of the greatest disappointments in the 1000-year Blood War arc, but looking at it inversely, it's low-key one of the greatest power showcases in character, how I avoid fighting you and he then negates your power in the future. This is easily what his Bankai, a gravely injured Ichigo, had ended up activating, who was so from the Bleach unit. Ichigo's the true Bankai of Ichigo in the 5th spot is well justified. How do we witness the full spectrum of true 4th best battle? Now don't click off the video just yet. I say other powerful ability Bankai work best when he fights enemies who completely outclass him in Reiatsu and overall power. This Bankai enables fights the need, while Fushi no Koji, one can carry the other.
Okay, so Ichigo's true Bankai makes him so fucking strong. GG, good game, beats Almighty. Yhwach, whatever the hell his name is. Yhwach, right? Whatever. I mean, based off of Kenpachi's and fucking Ichigo's alone, I'd probably... It's very complicated, right? Because this is even more bad. So, if Ichigo even moves, dies. Just instantly, like, he's gonna kill himself. Cause Rukia's one is if she moves, dead. If Kenpachi moves, broken body. So these two fucking big weakness. Ichigo's true Bankai. So this is where I get to the point where I'm like, all right, it's either Ichigo just insta kills both Naruto and Luffy without moving after saying Bankai, and then he has to release it. And if he did not kill both of them, he can't use his powers for the next 6 months, because that one devouring Bankai, he's pretty much fucked. He's pretty much gonna be left dead. So if he does not kill both of them when he releases Bankai, he's fucked. Because a lot of these Bankais have like crazy weaknesses.
How powerful the Bankai ends up becoming. While Fushino Kojyo has an extremely powerful ability that absolutely negates the need for Reiatsu. You could even say that the powers of Hisagi's Bankai work best when he fights enemies who completely outclass him in Reiatsu and overall power. This Bankai enables Hisagi to create a world of stagnation where nobody can die. He does this by creating a massive ball of chains that bind both Hisagi and his opponent. From what we can gather, these chains are unavoidable and they can't be removed or broken off when they're attached. The chains create a combined pool of both Hisagi and his opponent's Reiatsu, and as the two fight, any injuries that are
okay, this Bankai is useless because it's not gonna work on Naruto or Luffy. They don't have Bankai, so this Bankai is honestly, I'm probably gonna have to decrease power after this one. So 32. We'll go back down just 1. I think that's fair because they don't have Reiatsu. If it's like involved Reiatsu, it's like not gonna. So it's just gonna take what, his Reiatsu, and then once it runs out dead, like that's a GG good game. It's like doesn't make any sense. This thing is
sustained between the two of them will be healed immediately using Reiatsu from this set.
And this works better on people that are stronger than you. So it's like this is not gonna work on Naruto or Luffy. They have no Reiatsu, so it's like it's
even
kind
fatal
of pointless.
injuries are healed instantly.
Do not turn your back to the mirror.
Sure. But yes, based off of this, I mean, pretty much not a good Bankai to use. So let's that one. Unless we're just assuming he got 10 times stronger regardless. I mean, fuck it, whatever. Let's just say he got 10 times stronger regardless. It's like GG, fucking good game. Whatever. Some of these Bankai, like, if you think about it, fire and ice cannot exist in the same plane at the same time. So it's like it's impossible. But this is an anime, so it's like, fuck it. Fire and ice can exist at the exact same time. So I'll just Reiatsu at the end of the day.
Hisagi's Bankai as one that rewrites the very reishi of the space that it influences. It essentially creates a pocket dimension where none of the rules of the current world apply. This Bankai was used against the formidable hybrid being Hikone, who pretty much outclassed Hisagi on every level. Yet this massive power gap between them is exactly what made this ability so effective in Hisagi's favor. The only real limitation that comes with the power of Fushino Kojyo is that there's no real way to win in a fight with this Bankai. It will stalemate literally anyone that it goes up against, and it's a far more impressive outcome than losing in a fight. For example, if Yamamoto were to go up against Fushino Kojyo, he would still end up in a stalemate with Hisagi no matter what technique that he uses, because the same Reiatsu empowering his attacks is what would end up restoring Hisagi back to life. While Hisagi's Bankai does grant him and his opponent with some form of immortality, it does not, however, negate the pain that is associated with having your body destroyed and restored over and over again. Having to endure all of this may be just a bit too mind-bending for us to imagine. Despite all of this, Hisagi is still unable to lose to anyone with his Bankai, which is why I've placed Fushino Kojyo in the 4th spot, ranking above all of the other Bankai that I've spoken about thus far. While this is a very contentious, these are the endgame of the series, belongs to none other than Toshiro Hitsugaya, and it's his mature Daiguren Hyorinmaru. This may sound extremely controversial, but I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can, as I'll start by going over the abilities that this matured version of his Bankai exhibits. Hitsugaya's fully matured Bankai retains its ability to manipulate ice, and it builds upon this by taking it up a whole new level. The first and most notable thing about this new version of Daiguren Hyorinmaru is how it freezes enemies. It doesn't shoot torrents of ice anymore, it instead manifests ice around the opponents instantly, essentially granting Hitsugaya the ability to flash freeze his opponents.
Okay. What's this guy's name? So we're just gonna take a Dragon Freeze guy, right? Where is it? Giant Dog, Music Blind, Ice Dragon, Bankai. Oh my god. Sorry about that. I got a call. Wait, I'm gonna text my mom real quick and tell her. Alright. Alright. Okay. Okay, Ice Dragon, where is it? So, Ice Dragon, we're just gonna add to this shit. So, Ice Dragon Mine can shatter stuff with ice powers. So, instantly freezes anything. Pretty much. That's what he just said, right? Like,
This enhances his range and versatility greatly, and it grants him much more micro control over his attacks, which is, to be honest, always a great thing to have. But the real kicker in this equation is that Hitsugaya's ice now possesses the ability to completely halt the function of whatever it encases, both autonomically and supernaturally. This is what he had used to destroy Gerard's sacred sword Hoffnung, which had powers tied to the concept of hope. Hitsugaya froze it and explained that even his hope has been frozen, proving that not only supernatural abilities are at the mercy of his freezing power, but even abilities with conceptual roots can be halted by him. So concepts like balance demonstrated by Hashward would also be at the mercy of Hitsugaya's matured Bankai. There is also another impressive feat that this matured Bankai has that none of the other Shinigami in Bleach have. It's that Hitsugaya would be the only Shinigami who would be able to easily counter Hisagi's Bankai. This is due to the fact that once he freezes the surroundings, including Hisagi's chains, the chains will consequently lose their physical and supernatural functions and can.
okay, so he can conceptually destroy anything as well. So something like this would actually counter like a Logia user.
Considering that he can literally freeze concepts, he can freeze and negate the
this would be like hockey essentially.
Stagnation that is created by Hisagi's Bankai. While in his matured Bankai state, Hitsugaya can defend himself by flash freezing any enemy who is dumb enough to touch him in this state. He possesses a technique called Shikai Hyoketsu, which allows him to freeze any and all matter, even raw energy, as long as his opponent moves 4 times. This also adds to the fact that not only is he freezing and negating powers, he is also freezing at absolute 0 temperatures, which literally means that he has an enhanced version of Rukia's Bankai Hakano Togame, but it's much better in several aspects. The abilities possessed by Hitsugaya's enhanced
pretty much just GG. You move dead. Ice Dragon Bankai can shatter stuff with ice powers, instantly freezes anything conceptually, destroys anything energy based.
Bankai are insanely powerful, but we know that having a powerful ability isn't all that it takes to be a top dog in this ranking list. So does the
this Bankai sounds like it beat everything else.
Adult Hitsugaya hold up in this Bankai state? The best and most easy way to scale this would be having to compare him to his opponent Gerard Valkyrie. Before Hitsugaya activates the enhanced Daiguren Hyorinmaru, Gerard had already significantly gotten more powerful. Then when Kinpachi had arrived and started fighting Gerard, they were evenly matched, but unfortunately Kinpachi's attacks just kept making Gerard stronger, and the situation was made even worse after Kinpachi had activated his Bankai. Kinpachi added on the monstrous strength of his Bankai to the equation, as Gerard had used this power to once again evolve. This creates a monster with power surpassing the version of Kinpachi's Bankai that we had just seen. It is this version of Gerard that Hitsugaya completely and absolutely disrespects in his fight. He fought and defeated an enemy who had taken up a portion of Kinpachi's Bankai strength and had turned turned it into his own, but it still wasn't enough to harm Hitsugaya. This implies that mature Daiguren Hyorin Maru also grants Hitsugaya an insane Reiatsu boost, allowing him to go toe-to-toe with some of the most godly entities in the Bleach universe. So with the combination of high Reiatsu and insane abilities, this is why I believe that the complete version of Hitsugaya's Daiguren Hyorin Maru is the third best Bankai in Woodverse. Immense power Shutara's Shitatsu Karagara Shigarami no Suji. Its immense power is shrouded in mystery, but we have more than enough information to help us piece together its true potential. This is a Bankai that allows Senjumaru to create a massive loom that is able to create beautiful textiles. Now this doesn't sound very threatening when you word it like this, but these textiles that she creates specifically are designed to fit the opponent that she is facing. So whatever cloth that her loom weaves will be designed specifically in order to counter the abilities of the enemy that she is up against. Her Bankai manipulates fate itself, as it produces any element that it requires in order to counter the powers of her opponents.
Shit, I mean, this power already is already broken as shit. Can control fate. I mean, this shit just wins. That's it. GG, good game. There's like, fuck.
Delving deeper into a Bankai, it takes the tailor concept to an extraordinary level. Just as a tailor crafts specific garments to fit an individual's body, her Bankai weaves textiles. Its versatility. For instance, she had conjured an 8-sided mirror room reflecting any attacks back to its origin in order to counter Lil Barrow's formidable X-axis. Moreover, she had crafted specialized textiles to neutralize the powers of individual Schutzstaffel members. Each textile is specifically tailored to trap Immortal Ask in a room that freezes him so he eternally until he turns to ash. She seals Hashward in a room that will burn him eternally until he turns to ash. She seals Gerard in a textile that freezes him so he's not only immobilized but isn't receiving any damage from an attack, which will consequently make him stronger. She also demonstrates burying Pranida alive in a textile which is filled with surfaces that he cannot manipulate or destroy with his nerves. And lastly, she seals Uryu in a textile that drains his life and energy. Senjumaru's Bankai doesn't fall behind her incredible powers either. She's easily one of the most powerful Shinigami to have ever lived. Her Bankai's spiritual pressure alone can endanger the 3 realms. So even when she's using her Bankai, she has to be extra careful so as to not destroy the universe in the process. This basically removes any possibility of Reiatsu negation when it comes to fighting.
GG, good fucking game. Yeah, I mean, shit. I mean, if this can destroy the whole universe, if not careful. GG, good game, bro.
Against her power. She's an insanely powerful Shinigami with an equally powerful Bankai, and her ability to write the fates of her opponents is easily the most broken Bankai ability that we have ever seen. Or at least it's definitely the second most broken, because we've got one final Bankai to speak about coming in.
But wouldn't she just counter Ichibei's Bankai? Because if it's like writing stuff, like, are you saying like his writing is more powerful than her just
in the number 1 position is a Bankai that most of you may have already guessed, as I'm about to talk about the Bankai of
because Yuha Bak beat Ichibei's thing.
None other than Manako Osho, as it's his time to shine as the Bankai called Shin-Uchi. It is, however, a power that doesn't make a lot of sense without adding the context of his Shikai to the situation. Ichibei's Shikai grants him the ability to erase the name of whatever the ink from his blade splashes onto. This ability doesn't just erase a name from existence, it erases it along with everything that is tied to it. This includes one's entire identity, powers, and almost every representation of who they were before the ink had even touched them. This leaves them nameless, powerless, and defenseless. This is where his Bankai, or rather his Shin-Uchi, comes in. One of the cool things about this Bankai is that it's so old that its existence predates the word Bankai. It was the first ever evolved Zanpakuto in the entire history of Bleach, and when you look at the abilities, it's made very apparent that this Bankai played a major part in shaping the history of the Bleach universe. Shin-Uchi grants Ichibei the ability ability to grant a new name to anyone whose name had been erased by the ink of his Shikai. This new name comes with all the traits and attributes that are associated with this said name. So if he names the target Frog, then they will gain the speed, power, and intelligence of a frog. All they previously were is erased and their entire existence is boiled down to Frog. This is basically a broken power that Ichibei can use to pretty much nope any power out of existence. Because this is the oldest Bankai in existence, the story subtly hints that Ichibei's abilities may resonate on the same extraordinary plane of transcendence like Dangai Ichigo and Hokyoku infused Aizen. While it isn't explicitly stated within the manga, it is kind of implied that Ichibei's Bankai goes beyond the idea of Reiatsu, which is why even Yhwach wasn't able to sense any Reiatsu from this incredible Bankai transformation. This means his Bankai's power might not even be tied to Reiatsu like other abilities in Bleach, so it exists because it's tied to the very fabric of the Bleach reality, and the only person who rivals the power of this Bankai is literally the mightiest being in existence, the Soul King. I doubt that we're ever going to see a Bankai that rivals the level of power of
Okay, so we have all the Bankais. So, based off of this is how fast and strong Ichigo would be. So, he's 1E plus 33. I assume that's a lot of fucking zeros. Right? A big fucking number. It's 1 with, I assume, 33 zeros. So, very fucking fast. Very strong. He can pretty much destroy the whole fucking universe if he wanted to. He could do everything. Do everything in existence. He's pretty much God. Pretty much. But apparently still weaker than the Soul King, I guess? Because apparently the Soul King can do all this and more. Like, apparently every Zanpakuto is but a fart compared to the Soul King. So, yeah, that's Ichigo. So this is Ichigo done. We're gonna do Naruto next. I think Naruto should be a lot easier. I think Luffy's should be like very fucking long as well. So we're gonna look at Naruto's dojutsus, all of the dojutsus essentially. So we're gonna look at every single dojutsu, and we're just gonna essentially, we're gonna look at all of them essentially. We're gonna write down what they can do. What can the person do? Alright, so the fucked up thing is that Naruto gets like literally no multipliers from this shit. Straight up. Like no fucking multipliers. It's kind of sad. That's why in my original video of this, I gave him infinite chakra. Because I'm like, this is not even fair. This is like completely just, you're gonna fucking get fucked. So Byakugan. Let's see. It doesn't even say. White Eye. Suski. Rinnegan, okay. Kama. I want to see the abilities of all of them. That's what I want to see. All dojutsu abilities. I mean, unless he has like some sort of crazy like fucking erasure, like dojutsu, it's like at this point it's like GG good game. We're also gonna be including like pretty much all of the dojutsu power, or all the dojutsu powers, like from like let's say Obito and I guess Kakashi and Itachi and Sasuke, Madara, and you know anyone who has essentially an ability. So let's see. Okay, Shion's dojutsu. Priestess, Land of Demon. This is from a movie, so it's not canon. More superior Byakugan in terms of range, fixating her sight in a particular direction. She can see several kilometers by She can also track the movements of her enemies through the reflection of tiny water droplets. Yomo's Doujutsu is limited to the sun's exposure as it evaporates the water droplets quickly. This technique also gives her the advantage of evading lethal attacks, which is in conjunction with her flexibility. The only drawbacks of her Doujutsu is the sensitivity to extreme light exposure. So, okay, this is one Doujutsu that he has. Okay, so can see everything. Naruto's Doujutsu abilities. So, can see everything within several kilometers. And it's like a better Byakugan, essentially. She can evade lethal attacks. So she can evade lethal attacks with this. Ranmaru's Doujutsu. What is this? This Doujutsu also runs to Byakugan specific Doujutsu man on extrasensory perception, giving him the ability to see through objects. Can see through objects. Giving him the ability to see through objects. Moreover, it increases the analytical prowess to read the opponent's inner thoughts with utmost ease. Can read minds easily. And analyzing powers. His Doujutsu can also negate the effect of other visual prowess by hindering the ability to see chakra. This eye technique is so efficient and powerful that it can even overcome Genjutsu. Using this Doujutsu, Ranmaru can transfer some of his life for the nearly dead individuals to bring them back to life. Can give life with these eyes. Okay, there's the Ketsu Ryugan. Naruto is a Kekai Genkai Doujutsu belonging to the Chinoki clan. Have the ability to cast Genjutsu via eye or skin contact. On hypnotizing their target, the user can delve deep into their mind to extract crucial information. However, appropriate to the moniker eye as red as blood, the Ketsu Ryugen can manipulate iron within the bloodstream, the target, or any liquid rich in iron. Chino can even control the iron within her own blood if she wants to. Okay, so can hypnotize via eye or skin contact. Jogen. Only limited to Boruto and his first human to possess. This ability is also similar to Byakugan as it gives the user the visual prowess of seeing the chakra pathway system. And Tenkutsu. In the beginning, Jogen used to activate involuntarily. However, Boruto later learned to control and manifest its abilities at will. Since the ability can see through invisible barriers that connect between dimensions, it can predict where Yomotsu Hirasaku will occur. That's it? Okay. Can see chakra pathways. And Tenketsu can predict. Let me see. Since it can see through invisible barriers that connect between dimensions, it can predict where the ability to see invisible barriers between dimensions. Kind of a useless ability, but okay. Yakugan. Dominating advantage in close range combat due to 360-degree field of vision. Alright, I think I'm gonna just copy and paste this shit. Can I? No. Alright. 360 range. Field of vision with only a small blind spot behind their necks. Back of neck. From 60 meter, can penetrate through any object and track people from far away. Where most wielders with these eyes can see 50, 60 meter prodigies like capable of seeing approximately 800 meters within their range. With only blind spots of their neck, back of neck, and can see 800 meters. Average user can see 50 to 60 meters. So Neji could see 800, so we'll just give him major advantage. The Byakugan user have overshine is their ability to see chakra to a greater degree. Can see chakra to greater degree. Let's see. This part can also determine if someone is performing any kind of jutsu or if someone is under the influence of genjutsu. Can see through genjutsu or see any jutsu essentially being performed, I guess. The Yuga clan managed to utilize Byakugan ability to devise gentle fist art, taking complete control of target's chakra in combat. Let's see. Sharingan. The Sharingan grants the user two prominent eye abilities: Eye of Insight, Eye of Hypnotism. These eyes are enable to the user to see chakra, but at a limited extent. Sharingan unique genjutsu is regarded as one of the most powerful dojutsu, as it can control the target's 5 senses completely. Can control the target's 5 senses completely. Let's see. The most powerful dojutsu, as you can, okay, utilizing the Sharingan's exceptional perception abilities, a user can predict the movements of their opponents with precision. Users can also copy any powerful jutsus such as Kekai Mora and nature transformations. Can copy any jutsu and predict movements. So we're just gonna have to scale how fast Naruto is. So I'm gonna do 2 experiments. One where they're all the exact same speed, and then one where it's like just how much power they're getting and speed and shit like that. Shiki's Dojutsu is another nameless powerful eye technique introduced. Let's see. Which grants the user to shrink themselves to any inanimate or non-living object within their sight at will. Can control size and have size manipulation. And themselves. In the dimension, time does not flow at all, which is why each object remains in pristine condition. Ishiki can retrieve the objects at such speed that Sharingan looks useless. Can control size and have size manipulation of objects and himself, and himself, and on top of that, he does so very fast, undetermined speed. No, we don't know how fast this shit is. Just makes Sharingan looks useless. Mangyaku Sharingan. Okay, grants powerful techniques that differ between the two eyes. An example of this can be when Itachi Uchiha was able to cast Amaterasu from his right eye and Tsukuyomi from the left. Another dominant advantage of Mangyoku Sharingan is that the user's capability to conjure Susanoo, an enormous humanoid avatar entirely made of chakra. Through this form, the original ability can be transplanted into a non-Uchiha and comes at the cost of using a tremendous amount of chakra. Susanoo uses a lot of chakra. Can use infinite burning fire. Sorry if my fucking grammar's. I'm just fucking doing this quick. Susanoo uses a lot of chakra, can use infinite burning fire. What else? Tsukuyomi is just like a much stronger version of hypnosis, but I guess we're assuming he has like one really fucking strong Susanoo, right? Like, cause it's like combining all the other Susanoos together. So yeah, we're just gonna assume all Susanoo combined, cause fucking Naruto needs it. Eternal Mangyoku Sharingan. Eternal retains all the original techniques of both wielders since there are no negative side effects from using these eyes. This second evolution gives the user a certain level of invincibility. Surprisingly, using this form can even reduce the chakra draining to surprisingly minimal. Reduces chakra usability. Retains abilities. This is kind of useless because we're giving them all the abilities. Since the user takes a huge toll on them, leaves their body in excruciating, causing deterioration to their vision. The only way to restore their vision is by transferring the ability from Uchiha to awaken. The said eye retains all the original techniques of both wielders since there are no negative side effects from using these eyes. This second evolution gives the user a certain level of invincibility. I assume it means to the eyes. Certain invincibility, essentially. Tensegan. Okay, so the set eye allows the user to control of attractive and repulsive forces. Retract. Capable of activating chakra mode to increase its strength, speed, and durability. Can increase speed, strength, and durability. Additionally, by utilizing True Seeking Balls to perform the Golden and Silver Wheel Reincarnation Explosion, it was able to almost destroy the crust of the moon. I guess these eyes also give you True Seeking Balls. Gets True Seeking Balls. Renegon is the most powerful eye among the 3 great eyes, capable of acquiring by fusing his body with high. The evolution took a lot of time. Due to the enormous ocular power granted to it, even a single eye will turn the individual into an ultimate powerhouse. Moreover, a user can utilize 6 abilities collectively, known as the 6 paths technique. In fact, the wielders of the Renegon are said to be sent down from the heavens to either become the god of creation or the god of destruction. Rene Sharingan is the only third eye. She, apart from the infinite Tsukuyomi, Rene has other destructive techniques that only Kaguya can perform, as it requires a tremendous amount of chakra. Using can replace the world around her with one of her personal dimensions. Okay, so can change dimensions. While information regarding several Doujutsu is still limited, we can only hope to learn more about them in Boruto series. Maybe we will be. Okay, so can essentially change her location. So now we're gonna look at all the Susanos. Rene Sharingan's only gonna work on the moon, so it's like this is not gonna be one of those like perfect scenarios where like fucking Luffy's in the water and the moon's up and everybody just goes to sleep. Like no, this is too much. Okay, so all Susano abilities. So we're just gonna look at all the. We're just gonna look at every single Susano. Okay. For example, a user can still perform jutsu while within Susano, yada yada. Others can be brought. So essentially, he'll be able to make like a 9-tailed Susano with like a bunch of powers and all that stuff. That's pretty much how I would envision this Omega version of Naruto. The latter characteristics can be used against their user, yada yada. Can bypass Susano, however. Okay. Layering more advanced stages over earlier ones or stripping them away as it is needed. They can choose to stop at a development stage. So, okay, Itachi. So, Itachi Susano possesses curved blade. For Tanto, he rarely uses, preferring his sword of Totsuka wielded. Big jar. To seal anyone it pierces, trapping them in a genjutsu-like world. Drunken dream. Okay. I'm just gonna copy this part. This is just the Susano ability. Wielded the Yada Mirror Shield that can change its nature depending on the attack it receives, thus nullifying it. According to Black Zetsu, the simultaneous use of Sword of Totsuka and the Yada Mirror made Itachi essentially invincible. Change depending receiving and nullifying it. So it can nullify essentially all attacks. Copy. Ace. So yes. This is like his small version. Never made like a big version, but I don't think it really matters if I'm correct, I guess. I assume he could just fucking use all these powers. Let's see. I mean, Sasuke is kind of trash because it's just a bow and arrow one. Doesn't really do anything. I guess let's assume each fucking Susano is getting a stacked multiplier or something, because I don't know how the fuck like, I would assume it increases his power to the power of the 9 tails. So let's just assume every fucking Susano is, I guess, planetary. Like I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt. Because we don't know what these guys can do. Let's see. Also, barrage of chakra needles. Usually complete with the second pair of wing shaped. Kakashi Atake's critical mark, left eye. Yeah. So he also has the he can warp any target away on contact if he lands a shuriken. That's like the other ability. Okay, so we have Kakashi's thing. Nagoromo's. And then Hagoromo's is just very fucking big. That's it. Mers. I don't know who the fuck Mers is. Brave Tsukuyomi. In order to increase the size of his sword and repair any damage to Susanoo, unlike others, so doing so takes time. So with the Renegon, I know he can like fucking absorb chakra and all this bullshit, but it's like they don't have chakra, so like these abilities don't really fucking help at all. Yeah, and on top of this, fucking Naruto, so this multiplier, mind you, this multiplier doesn't even include Ichigo's multiplier. This is just a multiplier based off of like all the Bankai combined. So wherever you think Ichigo is, light speed, whatever speed, that's the multiplier that he's getting just from this. Right? So remove this nerf by 3. No nerfing by 3. Every Bankai. Fuck that shit. Okay, so yeah, this is how this is the multiplier. You have to add this to whatever speed you think he's at, pretty much. That's what I would tell you. Now we're going to do Luffy. So, I think the best way to go about this, since there's no real way, cuz zones are obviously a thing. How many Zoan devil fruits are there? Holy Jesus. So, based off of this, there are 5,052 zone devil fruits. There are 44 cannons of natural zone devil fruits, 5,000 smile fruits, 1 Dr. Vegapunk fruit, and 7 non-canon devil fruits. So, that's a big fucking number. This is gonna take a long time. I think I can do the power of thingy on my phone. Okay. So we're just gonna remove 7. And if we're including all smile fruits as well, we'll do a couple of calculations, because I did not know there was this fucking many. Mind you, that's not even like some devil fruits. It's like, you see how Zaraki Kenpachi's power gives him like crazy strength. Yeah, it's gonna be like that, where like some Bankai are just better than others. Well, obviously some devil fruits are also better than others. So we're just gonna generalize and just say each devil fruit is giving him like a 2 times multiplier to speed and power. Not including awakenings. Because if we include awakenings, then there's no way to really calculate that. It take forever. So awakening is like true Bankai of like every devil fruit put to fucking together, essentially. It'd be fucking insane, essentially. So we're gonna do it on my phone because my calculator on my PC doesn't have thingy. So we're gonna do okay, so I guess we just do a 2 times fucking this number, essentially, I guess. To the power of, I guess, 5,052. Or let's remove 7, because 7 of them are non-canon. So, what is that? That's 50, that's 45. So, 5,045. Jesus Christ, the number is so big it actually breaks the fucking calculator. Yeah, guys, the number is literally so fucking big. It doesn't even calculate inside of it. I'm not even lying. I'm not even fucking lying. I'm gonna show you. 2 to the power of 5,000, right? Like, look. This is what we get, right? That's at 50. That's just at 50. If I said 44, I mean, okay. So at 44, this is what we get, assuming, right? So this is the number we get. I don't know if you guys can see that. I will put my screen up bigger so you guys can see. This is the number that we get. This is just at 44. That's not including the smile fruits. That's just including all the canon natural Zoandel fruits. So we get that multiplier to speed and strength, assuming it's just straight up thingy. Good job, I'm proud of you. Who should I play as support games? Well, GG. Yo, sorry, Cody. I'm fucking in a whole different universe right now, bro. Mind you, so this is the number we get, right? That's just at 44. That's 2 to the power of 44, right? Now, if I decide to increase that, it doesn't even go all the way. Mind you, a lot of these fucking Zoandel fruits are fucking horrible. Right, so 45. Right? This is where we're at. So it's 5.23 E plus 151. And if I add 5, literally, just adding 5, it doesn't even calculate it. It's so beyond reach. It says calculated. Let me see if I can do it. I'm trying to fucking click it quick. It says calculation outside of accepted range. Even if I close the parentheses, it still says the same thing. Calculation not accepted. So I did not know there were this fucking many. My biggest argument was gonna be like, okay, yeah, like some Dough fruits, obviously they're much stronger than others, and you know, obviously Luffy has like a 5 times multiplier to his gear second, and that's because of Doriki, because it doesn't really make any sense. Doriki levels, like just me scaling where I think, you know, Luffy's at. Like Bluno was 820. Right? If you do basic math of 4,000 divided by 820, this is what you get. Or no, what the fuck? I didn't even add the thingy. My bad, guys. Got to add a 0. 820, right? So divided, it's 4.8. So it's pretty much a 5 times multiplier. That's just gear second. Mind you, not even including the author's statement of Del fruits essentially evolve the more you use them. So Luffy just using his own Del fruit is already ridiculously strong. Where would I even scale him at speed? I mean, it's impossible to scale him. because there's a lot of factors. So my thing with Naruto, right? My biggest thing, right? The reason why I can't scale Naruto properly in speed is because he's like all over the place in terms of speed. He can dodge lasers, right? But then it's like when he's fighting what's Delta, like he ends up getting outsmarted and needed to be saved by Kawaki. So it's like that's a big fucking problem. And then Baryon mode is also fucking trash. So it's like, even if I argue he has infinite chakra and can just use Baryon mode forever, it's like Ichigo's powers are already so fucking broken as shit. So it's like he's just gonna one-shot him. He just gonna conceptually one-shot you. GG, good game. It's over. If I had to say where I think Naruto is, I don't know. I actually do not know. Ichigo, I do not know. I mean, a lot of this stuff feels like we're getting into a range of power that it's impossible to scale. It's really up to you guys to scale it, right? So, fucking Luffy's multiplier in speed, I would say, if I'm just showing you multipliers only and I'm not giving you a speed at all, Hody. So fucking Luffy's speed, I don't know. Fucking whatever you want it to be. Speed, I don't know. Impossible to tell. Impossible to tell. All I know is that he could be anywhere between in fucking massively faster than light to immeasurable speed. You would not be able to fucking tell, because now this multiplier is so ridiculous. It's so fucking ridiculous. Like, we would literally not be moving. That they're so fast, essentially. Specifically, Ichigo and Luffy. I think Luffy, with all these devil fruit combined, the thing is so one argument that someone said is that Luffy would essentially be a big giant glob of nothing. And the problem with that is that he's also a Logia. So he could still combine all his fruits essentially into one and still look normal. On top of that, he could still be in his Nika form, right? So if I had to scale this, Ichigo get this Omega sword, right? I'm gonna try to draw Ichigo, right? Try to draw Ichigo essentially. This is Ichigo. Omega sword powers, right? You know, sword power Ichigo, yada yada, boom bam. Orange hair, right? This is Ichigo, Omega powers, right? I think he has half of his shirt destroyed. Then he has a horn. This is Ichigo, right? And then we have fucking Naruto in his Kurama fucking state with every fucking Susanoo on top of him. Fucking we have this. Rarg. And then we have Ichigo or Luffy just, I guess, in Nika form. Laughing at everything. Ha ha ha. Laughing at everything. Fucking chanclas and shit. Sandals. And white fucking hair. And pretty much he's just really fucking fast. So So assuming Luffy and Naruto bloodlusted doesn't make any sense, because I never really understood when someone says bloodlusted. If you're bloodlusted, you're not really gonna be thinking. Now, if you're saying like, oh, maximum output potential, like, I guess, like, we've already gotten into a fucking point of power where it's like no fucking return. No, my bad. I by accident I clicked that. Where is it? Doriki levels. So yeah, we have our Doriki levels. So just based off of Gear Second alone is already 5 times multiplier. And that's not even including, mind you, when they were talking about Doriki, they were talking about just this. They weren't talking even about their Del fruits. So it's like we're not even like, the crazy thing about this 2 to the 5045 power is that this is technically also not correct, because some Del fruits give you like a 5 times. So it's like if I really wanted to be very, very hyper wanking the fuck out of One Piece, Luffy would be so fast, he'd be beyond anything. Everything and anything. He'd have an immeasurable speed, essentially. You would not be able to clock in the time that he's in anymore. There's no time, no space, it's just done. So that's one thing, right? So that's just one thing, right? Then we also have more wank with Hody. Hody Jones. Well, he ate like 100 fucking pills. So where the fuck are we even putting Luffy at the end of this? Luffy at the end of this is fighting a guy who is pretty much calculated at like could lift 500 suns. He's already this fucking strong. And then Luffy's still above this guy. And then Luffy keeps getting stronger. Kaido's stronger than him. And then we're adding all these powers on top of this Luffy. That's just the Zoans. I haven't included Logias or Paramecias. The amount of hacks he has, okay, he has Uta's fruit. That's a canon fruit. If he sings, you're going into a dream world. It's seamless. The dream world is seamless. So if he sings any note, knock the fuck out. You going to sleep. You go to sleep. GG, right? Like, you go to sleep, you can't get out, right? Unless you want to argue Ichigo can just get out with his like fucking this one guy, the hyper awareness. I mean, it took him 2 days to get out of Aizen's thing. So, I mean, I would assume it would take him at least a while. He's not a genius. I assume Aizen is a genius compared to Ichigo, and this other guy who has the hyper awareness ability is also a genius, and all these perception abilities are like, at this point it just comes down to who could do what first, right? Naruto's the slowest one, Ichigo is the second fastest, and then Luffy's the fastest. So I mean, take it as you want to. If you don't think Luffy's this fast, that's fine. If you don't, whatever you think Luffy's at already, right? You still have to add this immeasurable multiplier to him. On top of everything else that you know about him. And you have to be actually honest. Now, if you don't want to be honest, that's fine. I'm not going to decide anything for you guys. You decide at the end. I'm not going to give you my opinion unless you ask me in the comment section what actually happened. I think this is a battle of speed and hacks. Who can get to who first, essentially. So, if we're assuming, you know, Luffy already has this fucking unquantifiable 2 to the power of whatever the fuck, 2 to the power of 5045, and then on top of that, comparing him, Cody Jones 8, what, 100 fruits or 100 pills, giving him exponential multiplier. This is also exponential multiplier as well because, well, every pill he ate was 2 times on top of that. There's no real drawbacks besides your old age. So like you're gonna become an old man. You're gonna die essentially after taking these 100 pills. And Luffy was still stronger than this person. So that's why I'm adding that. Then that's not even including, mind you, the more no mi, which can literally increase his power by 100 times more. And the speed by 100 times more. And there's technically literally no limit to this. It's all devil fruits are based off of the user's ability to use them. So until he dies, there's essentially like no limit. Now you might say like, oh, no limit fallacy, yada yada, all this shit. That I'm just telling you what they're saying. They're pretty much saying the author literally said your devil fruit ability will grow as long as you're using them. So plus he has the brain no mi, right? So like Luffy has the brain no mi, which essentially allows him to memorize everything. So can memorize everything. Is intangible. Can be all elements essentially. Can remove sound. So he can remove sound via Corazon's fruit or Law's fruit, but this is also an awakening, so I would just say via Corazon's fruit. Can teleport. He's getting infinitely stronger because the Nika Nika no Mi is based off of imagination powers. Imagination powers, getting stronger, more he laughs, more freedom. I mean, he could pretty much do whatever the fuck he wants to do. That's pretty much how he's perceived in his world. So he's pretty much all elements. I guess some paramecias like the Spring no Mi would give you more power, more speed. That's Bellamy's fruit. If he touches you, I mean, anything can fucking happen. If he touches you, can turn you to a toy. Can squeeze juice out of you. Fucking crazy shit. Squeeze juice out of you, turn you into laundry, put you in different dimensions, can go to different dimensions, can go into the future, with Toki's fruit. There's so much shit. So he can go into the future. If he touches you, he can turn you into a toy. Can squeeze the juice out of you. Can turn you into laundry. Put you in different dimensions. Can go to different dimensions. Shit. Technically, he doesn't need to eat either because he has green. He doesn't need to eat. Can live off of sunlight now. Has Marco's regeneration. Has Phoenix regeneration. Can switch souls and slice you without touching you. But he needs the sword, right? So he doesn't have a fucking sword. So I guess using the steel part of his like hand or like a finger, I guess he get to like turn a finger into a fucking blade and slice you from a distance, I guess. Yeah. As Phoenix Regeneration, can switch souls, can slice you without touching you, can switch your locations. Magnetic powers. Slice you without touching you, can switch location, magnetic powers, and God. Did I say he's all elements? Yeah, I mean he's all elements. Can remove sound, teleport, imagination powers, getting stronger more he lasts, more freedom. If he touches you, he can turn you into a toy. Squeeze juice, turn you into laundry, different dimensions, go into different dimensions, go into the future, doesn't need to eat, can live off of sunlight, can switch souls, slice you without touching you, can switch location, magnetic powers, probably doesn't even need to breathe anymore, to be honest. Shit, it's like fuck. What can he do? I assume all movie devil fruits are actually canon, because when you search up non-canon devil fruits, there's only like a couple that actually come out. Non-canon devil fruits. So when you search up non-canon, this is what you get. Zuma Zuma no Mi. Unknown. Plasma Human. It was eaten by Smash. Control Plasma. Non-canon, so it's not in the story. Non-canon shown devil fruits, Bato Bato no Mi. So this is just trending pages. Non-canon devil fruits have been physically depicted in the series or outside of media. Yeah, so these are just trending pages. So he can't turn himself into plasma. Meta Meta no Mi. I think this is a video game. Liquid Metal Human. Bake Danuki. Let's see, what is this? So yeah, he can't turn himself, I guess, into a fucking dog. He can't turn himself into a dog, I guess. So let's see. This one is Tori Tori no Mi, Honey Queen. Guess second movie. And then this one is just what? Candy syrup. It was eaten by main. Okay, so yeah, pretty much you can use any fucking devil fruit. I've pretty much said. Oops, did not mean to do that. So what did I remove? What? So can remove sound. All right, so I don't know. It doesn't really fucking matter. I think he just can increase his power. This is just a flat 100 more times. That's it. Can increase his power 100 more times and speed 100 more times. This is ridiculous, right? Like, fucking, we got, so essentially this, like I said, in my opinion, it comes down to speed. I don't really want to get down to it too much, because it's like, all right, if Luffy touches him, he's going to die, right? And Luffy has fought people like Mihawk even before Observation Haki, and he has had the feeling of death or losing arms. When Luffy tried to attack him, I mean, like, this is not including what his Observation Haki and all his stuff, like Haki, increase power and senses and stuff like that, and Conqueror's Haki just increases his power even more. So Conqueror's Haki, power more, can see into the future. So this comes down, to my opinion, to who's faster and who can react the fastest, because they pretty much all just one-shot each other. Because if Naruto has truth-seeking orbs, then it's kind of GG. It's like, if he touches any of them, dead. Like, they should just die. Essentially. Right? Because truth-seeking orb, if it touches... I assume if it touches water, it will just kill you. Or it will just erase the water, I guess. I'm not too sure about that. I don't know if it's on an energy manipulation level, like on fucking... the Ice Dragon fucking Bankai, where if it touches even conceptual powers, GG, good game, dead, right? If it touches you, die, right? So there's a lot of things in this where it's like existence erasure, making you really fucking strong. Ichigo's like true Bankai would have beaten Yuha Box Almighty. So it's like there's also that one too, that like. And then on top of that, he can pretty much control fate, can counter anything, he can restructure anything. So, and he can restructure himself. So unless I were to... So, there's 3 scenarios that happen. Either they look at Naruto and then put in Genjutsu, assuming Genjutsu work. Even though I would say Genjutsu technically does not work in either of these universes, but this is like a big power, so let's be fair. Let's say they look at Naruto. Let's assume they're all as fast as each other before we go into like a crazy hypothetical, right? So let's assume they're all as fast as each other. They look at Naruto even one time during Genjutsu, even if it's for a split second. He's gonna throw either Amaterasu on both of them. They're both on fire. So unless Ichigo goes straight into Bankai, we're assuming, I guess, they all go into like their full power mode offset. They look at Naruto, like I said, they're fucking gonna be placed under Genjutsu. Hypnosis, they're gonna get fucked. So, right, they're done. Yeah. On top of that, I mean, she can also evade lethal attacks. So, I assume, since they're all as fast as each other, that Naruto, I guess, would be able to evade. I mean, he also has Sage Mode and all these things. So his reaction also becomes, like, crazy good as well. Let me add that as well. Sage Mode powers. Nine Tails powers. Yeah. Sage powers. So, yeah. I mean, shit. And he also has infinite chakra. Fuck it. Let's just give him infinite chakra like in the last one. Because he fucking needs it. He fucking... So, one thing I have with the problem with... Like, even when people hear that word, infinite, and then chakra, they just automatically assume Naruto has, like, infinite speed and infinite power and all these things, right? Like, so he's, like, universal plus infinitely, right? So, infinites, there's different levels of infinity, right? So, there's small infinities, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would be a small infinity if it kept going from 1 to, you know, continuously. There's also very slow infinities. There could be very fast infinities. Infinities moving at the speed of light. How fast is this infinite fucking power? So, even assuming his power is increasing infinitely and speed is increasing infinitely, we would have to also assume that the speed is, like, immeasurable. So he's, like, infinitely growing stronger as well. Like, beyond all measure. So, that's just one thing to note. For Naruto specifically, if I was arguing for Naruto in this case, I would say, if we're giving him infinite chakra, if we're not giving him infinite chakra, then it's kind of fucked for him. Because it's like, he's going to run out of chakra. A lot of these things require a lot of chakra to use. Ichigo has a lot of shit where if you look at him as well, like, he's pretty much going to hypnotize you. He can control sound and pretty much just make you feel like you're not breathing, put you drowning, and all this shit. Then there's the fucking like rose petal guy that you could create a dimension and put you in a play, and you just end up dying. Right? So if they don't kill him and he does Bankai, like let's say Ichigo doesn't do Bankai, then Ichigo should die because he doesn't have Bankai. But if he does Bankai and this fight just started, then the rose petal guy's Bankai is kind of nullified because there's a second part where it takes all the damage you've taken. If he hasn't taken any damage, then he can't throw damage back. The other one, the first, like, if we're just assuming it skips to the last part, it has to be like a 3-part play, I assume. There's a time limit in this. So if you can kill him before then, I mean, Rose Petal Guy's Bankai, nullified. If, then there's the controlling Fate and countering anything Bankai with the girl with the fucking 5 hands, and she was like shaking the universe and all this shit. Universal Bankai, all this shit. She can destroy the universe, essentially. This one Bankai is also very weird because it's like, alright, so if she does it immediately, it's like pretty much just GG. You fucking lose. And then there's also Ichibei's Bankai where it's like, well, if he does Ichibei's Bankai, I mean, if he writes anything into existence, GG, also good game. I didn't write, let me see, Ichibei's. Did I not write? Okay, no, I did. Can destroy the whole universe if not careful. Ichibei's Bankai can rewrite anything into existence and write anything out of existence. So if, mind you, he has to do this with the stroke of the sword and everything like this. So assuming Ichibei's is stronger than even this fate manipulation and it's beyond even everything that's happened in the universe, we're assuming that as well, and it can like go against any other universe, including like Goku and stuff like that. This would be essentially the strongest power in like any fucking universe, because you can just rewrite anything the way you want it to. He just has to have the time, right? So obviously there's a time, there's a speed in which all this shit is happening. So I would have to say, if Ichigo is fast enough to write and say whatever he has to say, then yes, he just beats both of them. GG, good game. If he does Bankai, he doesn't even need to say anything. He can just control their fate and counter them, turning them into quilts or whatever, essentially. And unless you argue like fucking Luffy is going to just teleport out. I mean, technically Naruto can also teleport out, so they could technically teleport out of this. I mean, unless they can create like some sort of thing that can allow... Oh, I forgot to mention Luffy can also go invisible as well. That's also another notable power. On top of this, Ichigo can also go invisible as well. I forgot to add this as well. So technically they're both invisible. So Ichigo and Luffy are technically both invisible. You can't hear Luffy at all, right? But essentially, Ichigo would try to kill everything that's in the area and also attack Luffy at the same time. Luffy's the only thing Luffy can really do in this scenario, I would have to say, is if he's using Law's fruit, is just fucking switch locations. Or like just leave like literally you would have to change dimensions. So either Naruto just goes into a different dimension and just leaves while this fucker is like eating everything, and then once he runs out of like reishi, because obviously Ichigo doesn't have infinite. So one way Naruto and Luffy could get out of this is if they teleport into a different dimension and then they just wait it out, because he's gonna run out of reishi. Naruto is gonna run out of chakra, I mean, eventually, if he's like full power, but he could technically just stay in this world for a while. Luffy could just go into the future and wait for both of them to die since they're both human. There's so many fucking outcomes in this shit that it's goddamn near impossible to tell who the fuck is actually gonna win, unless you assume one is faster than the other. So yeah, I mean, whatever you decide to fucking go with, I mean, it's up to you guys. I mean, Naruto can win, Luffy can win, or Ichigo could win, based off of how they decide to play it. If Ichigo just goes into Bankai, he's going to be releasing a lot of energy, and he's pretty much going to be in like this regenerative state, but he's eventually gonna run out of reishi. Nothing in any of these Bankai say that he has infinite reishi. You just run out of reishi. Unless you were to argue like his Quincy side could just absorb reishi around from him. I don't know if he could do this, but if he could do this, then I guess he could just infinitely absorb all the reishi until like there's no more reishi in the area. But if we're assuming this is a non-reishi area where he can't absorb, then he's kind of fucked. So if they both decide to teleport, assuming they're all the exact same speed, if they both decide to teleport and just run away, I mean, Ichigo, after he uses his Bankai, he can't use his powers for 6 months. He's fucked. So he has to be very, very careful how if he uses Bankai, it's really fucked. Because based off of the fate manipulation and the countering anything, you can't counter teleportation because there's nothing to really fight. It's just me moving from space to space. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's like, this is the most non-negatable thing. It's just me moving from place to place. I mean, granted, he can also move from place. Ichigo can also teleport, but his Bankai is essentially always on because he has this one guy's teleportation, and his durability is shit because he has Rukias, Kenpachis, and this other guy that if he gets touched by even the smallest bit of a fucking bullet, dead. He's just gonna die. It's gonna be excruciating. He's gonna fucking die, essentially. I mean, you could argue you can restructure anything as well with Urahara's and fucking the blood manipulation as well, and just have the regeneration and just die whenever he wants to, but it all just comes back down to reishi at the end of the day. If you assume he has infinite reishi, then in theory, he could just wait them out for all eternity. While Luffy also as well is just waiting all eternity in either the Mirror World or the Door World or any of the other worlds that exist in the fucking One Piece world. I mean, he could pretty much just wait forever. And then Naruto, well, Naruto's gonna run out of chakra. Eventually, he'll just die. So Naruto probably die. Then, I mean, Luffy could just live off of sunlight if he wanted to. He could create a fucking his own sun. I guess if he fucking wanted to with fire. I guess he only needs really sunlight. I don't know if he can fucking create that. I guess he could. Maybe. I don't know. He could fucking do whatever the fuck he imagines. I guess. I don't fucking know. It just gets to a point where it's either you assume someone is faster or someone just has more infinite energy or can live without like, if you completely matter destroy Urahara, is he done for? Or can he just restructure himself? Like, what are the limits of this Bankai? Can he infinitely restructure himself forever? So if he's like, let's say, completely wiped from existence, can he restructure himself? I don't know. If fucking what's this girl, the blood manipulation, if she blood manipulates everything, right? Like, she can essentially make both Naruto and Luffy immortal as well, because it turned Kenpachi immortal as well. So then there's also that shit too, and then there's also Ichigo's true Bankai, where it's so fucking crazy strong that it was beyond Yuha Box fucking almighty. And then you also got to compare Ichigo to the Soul King, because, well, technically, if you add all this power to Ichigo, is he even as strong as the Soul King? Because the Soul King is supposed to be like multi-universal level in terms of power, because he was the one that combined all the fucking worlds together and all this shit. So he must have like beyond universal powers. Ugh, I'm fucking exhausted. There's so much fucking shit to go over. At the end of the day, I pretty much broke it down. I think, honestly, this comes down to speed. If you want to say who has more hacks, I mean, it's probably Ichigo, most likely. If it's coming down to stats, I think it's Luffy. If it's coming down to, I guess, eyeballs, I mean, fucking Naruto can just rewrite fucking reality with Izanami or Izanagi, whichever one it is. Then there's apparently there's some eyes, there's some dojutsus that can apparently, if you even have harm or intent to kill Naruto, then you could he could essentially stop it completely. Like he'll throw it back at you or whatever. So any attack he throws, regardless of speed, will just fucking done. So I don't know what fucking eye that is, but apparently those are eye abilities as well. I heard that from somebody in my comment section. I mean, I'm gonna look at all the eye dojutsu again. I'm not sure. I know there's a lot of fucking abilities. I don't know if this is an actual ability or if he's just taking this out of his fucking ass. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even fucking sure anymore. Let me see. Byakugan, Tetsugan, Tetsuryugan. I don't know. I actually don't fucking know. So I don't know if he was lying to me. I guess he was lying to me to like try and make Naruto win. I don't know where the fuck he's getting this information. I mean, when I search up Idojutsu, that shit don't come out. Maybe it's something that's completely brand new. Shit. I mean, is Douglas Bullets Devil Fruit also a thing too? Because Douglas Bullets is kind of so he can essentially upgrade anything. He can take every thing in existence and just start upgrading it essentially. That's one ability. There's a lot of the. I'm honestly, I don't even want to go through all the devil fruits because there's just too many fucking devil fruits. It'd be worse than the Bankais. There's just too many abilities in devil fruits alone. Even if I said, like I said, even if I took it to like, let's say the 44 range, there's some zone fruits that I would argue are probably on a Bankai level of power amp. Like, for an example, Kaido's fruit, Luffy's fruit, Marco's fruit. Like, these three fruits alone, all the mythical fruits, Buddha fruit, Yamato's fruit, like, these are, like, very, very abnormal fruits. To the point where, like, Yamato's fruit can freeze something to the point where pretty much you could stop an explosion before it even happens, essentially. Like, it's on some fucking Bleach freezing shit where it's like, well, I'm just gonna freeze the bomb so it doesn't blow up because now it's useless. It's just gonna shatter or whatever, right? Like, and then we also have Aokiji's fucking fruit. Like, we don't know how high all these devil fruits can essentially go. We don't know how hot magma can be. We don't know how hot Ace's fire can be. We don't. I mean, I didn't even mention Blackbeard's fruit. Blackbeard's fruit's already fucking crazy because based off of his shit, he can create like infinite gravity and just nullify any ability. So assuming he can also just nullify all abilities with Blackbeard's fruit, like shit, there's just so much shit. Douglas Bullets. It's too much shit. It's just so much stuff. It's insane how much stuff it is. I don't know. You guys decide. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Whatever you guys decide, you guys decide. I don't know. I honestly, if you ask me, I genuinely don't know anymore. Like, my honest opinion, I don't know where to scale them. Like, I can personally say, I would say Luffy's the fastest out of the three of them, just based off of raw stats. But I mean, Luffy can't touch them, or something bad's gonna happen. Like, if he touches Ichigo, he's gonna get frozen to death. He's gonna get burned by fucking fire, and fucking he's gonna get his fate controlled. And I don't know if he can teleport. And if he can teleport, then it's like, okay, then he just waits it out, goes into the future and says, fuck you, Ichigo, I'll let you die through time. Now, unless we're arguing Ichigo's immortal and he will never die from age, then that's another thing. I don't know. So, it's a battle of who wins. I don't fucking know. It really depends who you give the benefit of the doubt. So, you guys decide.